that's going to be also our next matchup. So the winner of that gets to go up against Team Spirit in the next round of the lower bracket.
वाह ये वाला मस्त बना है। तो जल्दी मार दिया। हाँ? भाई मस्त बना है ये वाला। जो एनिमेशन बनाया है बड़ी अच्छी है। सच्ची में सही बना है ये वाला। वही बने बट सच्ची में मस्त बनाया। भाई एनिमेशन बहुत ताबड़तोड़ की है और ये फाइट था इसके लिए। इनका एलसी आया। ये वाला मस्त बनाया था वो वाला। ये वाला उतना अच्छा। गेविन को बिठा देता। क्या देखा था?
I just took a quick trip to the bog. Oh, excuse me.
Meepo! Meepo! Meepo!
Ready for your dose? Wait for it.
I'm not ready.
Wait for it.
No!
Prevention. Pizza cure.
हेलो उतना अच्छा नहीं था। स्टोरी वाइज सही था बट वो लास्ट वाला बहुत सही था।
Suck it.
Suck it.
Wait along. This way, Mortimer.
ये वाला टॉप सीडर हो जाएगा. ये वाला टॉप 3 के अंदर जाएगा. अंडर मार दिया सबने.
And finally, the time has come to crown a winner of this year's short film contest. Effie, if you could, the paper. And the winner is Carried Away! That's right, Max, you won again, you dog. Congratulations.
Thank you to everyone who participated, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Keep on making short films. We'll see you next time.
कौन जीता समझ में नहीं आया.
Amazing. There are a lot of really, really cool
First
short
wala?
films, but there could only be one winner. So congratulations.
सही है.
Gentlemen, don't you think that these
वो
films
जीतने वाला
really
था, Dragon वाला
capture the
बहुत
essence
मस्त
of Dota?
Animation.
The times where you love playing Dota and the times where you hate playing Dota. Yeah, all the emotions.
The full spectrum of emotions.
सोने
Speaking of
चली गई.
emotions, emotions will be high in this next series that we have,
हाँ,
which is
silver casting नहीं
OG
करती है.
versus Quincy Crew.
Silver
Gentlemen,
host
this
है,
is a
caster देंगे.
series that people are super excited for
इस game में
because
उन दोनों को
there is
बैठाएगा. OD
the
Pixel और
battle
Frog को.
of the brothers gods. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Sumail and Yawar, here also known as YS, these two players, Sumail particularly has a long kind of history career, TI champion. Yawar, the older brother, but perhaps the less successful of the two as far as, you know, big international competitions. They both played at numerous TIs, and historically, you know, it's always been Sumail in the spotlight.
Tell me a little bit more about that, Insania, because you know Yawar pretty well, right?
Yeah, I
चलता
mean, I
नहीं
talked to
होगा
both
इसका
of the
बड़े
brothers
भाई
quite a bit. I mean, he's hungry. He's really
छोटे
hungry.
भाई
I was
से
talking to him
मार
last night. I
खाता
was
है.
like, he's like, okay, I gotta play up against my brother. This is not like the ideal situation.
देखिए गांड जलेगा
But I was
दूसरा
like, at
लाइक
the end of
पैसा
the
एक
day,
ही
you
घर
know,
में आ
like,
रहा है.
who the person that wants it more is gonna be the one that wins this game. And
आज
he was
तो
telling me
टॉप
if it
से
comes
लाइक
down
ये
to that, we
बोलेगा
got
ही.
it in the bag.
नोटेल अगर आज हारा
If
ना
it comes down to who's
कुछ
more
भी नहीं मिलेगा
hungry,
सुमन
Yeah.
तेरे को.
Yawar says he
अगर
has it
जीत
in the
गया
bag.
Yeah.
पूरा
Do you
पाकिस्तान
really
तेरे
think
नाम
that's
कर
what it
दूंगा
comes down to,
जीत
though?
के.
I mean, I had to give him the pep talk yesterday because
Okay.
I think
तेरे को
both
next
brothers were like,
प्रधानमंत्री
they
बना
didn't really
दूंगा
want to
इस देश
face
का.
up against each other.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Lyrical?
I mean, I think that
सुमन
it's
अगर
so
आगे जाके
interesting, right?
पॉलिटिशियन
Because
में घुस
this
जाए
is
ना
always a
पाकिस्तान का जीत
dynamic
जाएगा
that gets
क्योंकि इतना पैसा
explored
वो
as
लेके
like the
जाएगा.
brothers playing together. There's that naturally like rivalry that exists, but really there's like a lot of love between these two guys. And I think to me, the thing that stands out when I watch their performance is that it's really the other players where the rivalry really
कल या परसों
exists. I
कौन सा
feel
एक
like after
स्लीपर सेल
getting
पकड़ा गया.
knocked out of the lower bracket 2 times in a row by OG,
दिवाली में
Quincy
फोड़ने
Crew
वाला
really
था.
has something to prove here. There's a rivalry match that's going on, and you know, there's a lot on the line for both these squads.
And this is the first time they're facing in the lower bracket. Those last 2 years, last 2 TIs, when most of this Quincy team played them, it was in that upper bracket. So curious to see how things go.
Yeah, in ESL summer, they faced off, and Quincy Crew went 0-2, and maybe this is maybe the big TI stage is the stage where they're really turn it around, but. I don't know. It's just Dota is such a complicated game, and there's more than just one player. It's just really how the teams mesh. And do you think that the brotherhood will affect the way that they play as a team,
मुझे ये सही
or
नहीं
are
लगा
they just
कि
going to put
like
it aside?
viewers नहीं
I
है.
think
Viewer
maybe
होना चाहिए.
going
Like
into
ऐसा
the game
करना था
they'll
तो
think
last
about
year
it
ही
a
कर
bit,
लेते
but I
Dota
think once
tournament.
you're loading up into the game and you start drafting,
कोप
it's
से
not
में
really
जाके कर
something that's
लेते
on your mind anymore.
Got it. Well,
Like हमारे
we will
इंडिया में आ
now
जाते हैं,
bring out
अंबानी
the
के घर में करवा
teams
देते हैं.
to the stage.
लाइक हमारे अंबानी के घर पे करवा देते ना. 1 करोड़. ये इंडियन लग रहा है रे, वो दाढ़ी वाला.
You cannot talk about North American Dota without talking about Quincy Crew. Named after their team house located on Quincy Street, the Crew retains 3 members from its original TI9 newbie roster with Quinn, MSS, and Yawar. Pulling LOA out of retirement and bringing on Laszlo from Brazil, Quincy Crew finished in 6th in this TI's group stage, placing them in the lower bracket. However, in a stunning game, in the first day of the main event, Quincy Crew made a statement when they knocked Team Master out of the tournament. NA Dota never died.
Karo ya maro boss. Aga. Normally. Sumail United States है.
Defending their 2-time championship, Western Europe qualifier OG has widely been considered one of the strongest teams in Dota. High praise, especially during the last few years when Europe has been considered the top region in the world. Today is the day that OG begins their fight through the lower bracket, a place that they have never been in the last 2 TIs. While both Ana and Jerax have retired, OG has an exceptional roster with the addition of Sumail and Saksa, joining superstars Thompson, No-Tail, and Zeb, the latter of whom has just recovered from eye surgery weeks prior to TI-10. Will they manage to beat Quincy Crew for the 2nd time this year, with Sumail sending his brother Yawar home in 9th to 12th place with $800,000? We will find out in this best of 3. But for now, we will have a rapid-fire interview with OG and Dakota.
Welcome to another round of rapid-fire questions. I've got my guy Thompson here. I'm here with Seb, and I'm joined by Sumail. Are you ready, my man?
Yep, I'm born ready.
Let's get in. We got a little quiz here for you. Who played in the grand finals of the very first TI?
It was Navi, and it was...
Navi versus... shoot, I don't even remember Navi right now.
Navi and IG.
It was eHome, actually.
eHome.
Psych, got him.
Damn it.
Worst roommate.
Okay, maybe Sumail because he sleeps in and I don't.
Sumail first team tha.
Sumail, farts.
Some people were quick to throw your name in there, apparently. Most superstitious.
Tell me.
Superstitious. Sumail.
Sumail, maybe? Him or me, actually?
Most improved over the year.
Saksa, for sure. Saksa?
But Saksa has, I think, grown a lot as a player and as a teammate.
Dude, everybody picked Saksa. Every single one of you. What is the last hero you played?
I can't reveal too much now.
It was a pub and it was Snapfire.
Snapfire.
Yep. Getting the insights I see.
We got to move on to the big juicy one here.
Yeah?
Text time.
Text time.
Read us the last text message you sent, Seb.
To my mother. Can I call you? No. Dude,
Dang.
I wish I had some spicy stuff, but I don't. I said now we're doing interviews to my wife.
Girlfriend ka naam.
Like a bored face.
A bored face?
Yeah.
Well, I hope it wasn't too boring. We're already done here, Thompson, so thank you so much for the interview. Thanks for your honesty.
An amazing interview that had a lot of interesting insight. While they didn't really reveal anything except Snapfire, they revealed that they are family people who text message their family as, while they're at TI. How do you focus when you're at a big tournament and you're about to play a match that could possibly remove you from the tournament, but yet still focus on your family? Like, where's your mind at when you're focusing on 2 completely different things?
I think usually I just ask my parents not to contact me while I'm at home. Like, I'll message them when I have time. I guess that's normally how the dynamic goes. But they'll still drop me messages and then, like, I'll answer them when I can. And, I've been doing this for a while, so they are pretty understanding. They know what my schedule's like.
T-shirt है वो.
It's actually not too tough to
पहले
balance
जैकेट
it
निकाला
out.
उसके बाद टी-शर्ट है देख सेब ने कितना टाइम लिया.
Well, and to be fair also, if we think about it, that was probably on one of the media days as well. I don't think that they're texting right now, right before the game gets live. I mean, if it is, more power to them. But it's one of those things where like, this tournament just inhabits so much of everybody's psyche that you want that support, you want that love and compassion that you get from only you can from a family. But at the same time, you got to focus on getting the job done.
So tell me a little bit about OG and Quincy Crew's differences in the way they play in Dota. So I know that OG they can get pretty aggressive at times, but so can Quincy Crew. How do you think that these playstyles are going to clash? How are they going to work?
Yeah, I think we've seen Quincy, at least in their best of one, go back to playing a bit more around Lelis, or at least prioritizing him having more farm. You can see here one of his more play here is Timbersaw. In that best of one, he was playing the Nature's Prophet. So I think for Quincy, Quinn is like this super kind of sacrificial playmaker at times. I mean, similar to Thompson, but if anything, I think Quincy Crew's a bit more on the greedier side when I compare these two.
When I'm thinking about OG, I think about just playing around Sumail. It's sometimes been that 4 all funneled into 1, and he's been the one to get that job done. One of the big heroes that came out at the beginning of the group stages, at least, was Clinks. Stack up a billion camps, farm them up, and then just let him wreak havoc afterwards.
Yeah, I just think when you think of these two teams, I think one team is going to play more around enabling their core players in Quincy Crew to have farm, whereas I think OG don't care. They just want Sumail to have everything.
Right.
Right. And if Sumail can get ahead of his opponents, they rely on him to kind of wrap up the game for them. But I think OG will probably be the one setting the tempo, and I think they'll be looking for, making sure they control the pace of the game. They're the ones that decide what's happening, for better or for worse.
On the opposite side, what can Quincy Crew to kind of throw them off of that?
I think it starts in the lanes for them. I mean, it's been interesting, right? Because traditionally, Quincy Crew, they've put so much work into trying to get their lanes stronger. But then throughout the group stages, I was talking to Jack, at breakfast today. He's like, I think we won like 10 out of 12 of the laning stage, and then we lost all 10 of those games. So I don't know. It feels like a team that went through a bit of an identity crisis and really was down at the darkest they'd ever been. And now we're trying to make a little bit of a revitalization. So I think that going back to that laning stage dominance could be a strong way to, just knock OG off their start.
Yeah, and it's really been kind of, I think, the meta that's developed in the NA region. Any team that wants to compete against EG there has felt like they have to have these really strong laning stages, because that's EG's biggest strength with the skill of their players and also their picks. So Quincy have kind of adapted and molded themselves around that. They're not like the same playstyle as EG, but they do heavily prioritize having these strong lanes. I think Quinn, mechanically, his lane stage is like one of his biggest strengths, and then they really love to have the supports kind of collapse on around that mid lane once those power runes start coming into play.
Do you think that so a lot of people have said that OG is kind of the team that has traditionally set the meta for TIs. Is that the case with this TI as well?
I think to some extent maybe, but I think LGD just has outshined everyone, and I think the Chinese teams really have been the ones that have set the tone. I think OG is one of the teams that I feel played the most similar to the Chinese style of Dota, where they're still they're still keeping their identity in how much they want to take control. I think if you watch LGD play, you'll notice LGD often is in control of the pace of the game. Sometimes, some fights don't go their way, but you really, if you look at the net worth graphs, you'll notice that is just ahead. Is always ahead of his opponent. So I think OG's going for a very similar idea there in how they play with Sumail.
So one thing that Jack said, since Lyrical, you mentioned Jack earlier, when he was asked about OG, he said, "We respect the champs, but we're meeting down in the pit this year, and it's time to pass us the torch." What does that mean?
So I think that there is such an interesting storyline that goes on right here. First of all, Jack is just a fiend, and he's amazing. But I think that when you look at the storyline of what happened during the COVID year, there were some tweets that were thrown out. There was a lot of aspersions that were thrown out, and it felt like at times I think what Quincy Crew felt was that people weren't respecting them. They weren't respecting the region, and in a way, that they now have this chip on their shoulder. And one of the teams that they felt like kind of put that chip on their shoulder was OG. Now, whether or not you think that's fair, that's what they believe, and they're coming in with a lot of spiciness this time. And we'll see if it works out for them. I mean, it's dangerous to try and go into a match and throw out some big accusations, but we'll see if it works out for them.
How did OG put the chip on Quincy Crew's shoulder?
There was one particular tweet. We can get into this. It was. I mean, this is drama of the past. And I don't think these teams have it on their mind right now. But it was a tweet from Dota where he basically said like he'd been watching some NA Dota and basically said like the skill level looks absolutely terrible. I think he said something like the lower division EU teams would like crush all these NA teams or whatever. So it was basically this tweet calling out a lot of the teams in the NA region as being bad at Dota.
They already set up their account.
Do you agree?
I don't agree. I think it has to do. I can see from OG's
Until
perspective
the
and
host
how
are
OG
like
approaches Dota, where they want to be in control, they want to set pace, they want to be active, they want to.
That doesn't know what they're talking about. That doesn't know
North
anything
American
about the like
Dota is
game.
traditionally the opposite.
They're
You
just
play
a
lot
host.
more defense, and you kind of like tend to slow down the games and try to minimize mistakes.
Like
and play
she
more
asking
around,
about like
farming
what about the
jungle.
OG and
Precisely,
Quincy
farming
difference?
jungle. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
farming
wow.
jungle. That's the truth of it, really. So I can see from OG's perspective how you would feel that way, but obviously it's not true.
Yeah, the
Quincy
Chinese
Crew's a
come on,
really,
really
really strong
sponsor.
team, and even when they've faced up against European opponents, they've proven that they can't play good Dota.
Spoken like a true diplomatic analyst. I'm a big fan. So tell me about the heroes. So we've seen a lot of the same heroes throughout this, right? Like we've
Pakka
seen
Indian hi
Tiny, we've seen Earthshaker, we've seen Tide Hunter. Do you think that both of these teams will follow that trend, or do you think that since they're in the lower bracket, that maybe they might go for a little bit more comfort?
I'm leaning a bit more to comfort zone. That's what Quincy did in their best of one. I think they have a bit more breathing room now with a best of three. But I think ultimately both these teams kind of don't go for that super heavy team fight as much as a lot of the other teams here left in the tournament do.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see some of those spirit heroes coming out.
Logitech
most likely for Quinn. I would
इसका mouse
expect that
pad
we might get
Logitech
an
का
Evoker
mouse
at
और
some
एक
point
किसका
from
keyboard
Thompson
है?
trying to control the tempo of the map and just run
G4
around,
or
make chaos happen constantly. That really feels like where they're at their strongest. And then, of course, later on turning into alacrity bonuses for whatever core Sumail ends up going for.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to OG's draft style, Cal's touched on it a lot of times, but they will generally always have some sort of hero that will amp up their carry, make him even stronger than he is with the gold that he has. Combine that with the way they play, where they're just fumbling all the gold into Sumail, and then you have spells that are making him even stronger. It's just going to put him like over the top. I think that's going to be their playstyle for the series. I want to see Yawar on a hero that buys Blink. I think when he plays like Terrorblade and he buys Blink, he's really good. When he plays Medusa and he buys Blink, he's really good. I think for me, like, that's something I really, really want to see.
Big brother.
Is there any particular
big
hero
brother,
from
big bro,
either team that you want to see played that isn't Tiny or King or Tide Hunter?
Out of knowledge. It's a
I
Oni
like
Chan.
OG's Wisp a lot. I really like what they did when they put Seb on it. I think it didn't quite work out in the series against the Team Secret, because I think Team Secret was very, very prepared and they had good answers. And even in the way that they played the game, it felt like they were really prepped for OG. But I like their Wisp. I think the idea they have with the Wisp and how they approach the game with, we're going to farm up this Seb Wisp and hit timings earlier into the game, and then use that to snowball really fits the identity of their team.
And I think for the side of Quincy Crew, I'd love to see an ET come out. I think that it's one of the heroes that LOA, also previously known as SVG,
से
is
बोल
the
रहा है
strongest
क्या
on.
देख रहा है
Fits
मेरे को
really
दे
well
मेरा
with the rest of
देखने
their
का काम
playstyles.
तेरा नहीं है
We did see earlier today an ET
कुछ
combo
समझ में नहीं
together
आएगा
with the
तेरे
Venom,
को
which is
कोड में
another
बनाया
one of the
है
Venos that or the heroes that Quincy Crew goes to in clutch time. Fogg was talking a lot about how he didn't like that combination together because you oftentimes end up waking up people from your sleeps, but it's something to watch for. Those two would be the ones to watch out for me.
And the one hero I'd add, I want to see some Tinker. I think it's looked really cool and good in Thompson's hand. 5 years ago, no one's saying they want to see Tinker, but it's like slowly making its way back in the meta. It's just fun to see heroes that have kind of been gone for so long kind of coming back and making an appearance and doing really well on.
Please will you shut up, host?
Last question
Just
that,
please
really,
start the
that really
game.
weighs on my mind. Do you think that Seb's recent eye surgery will affect this match?
So I think maybe a little bit in terms of practice. Like, I know my teammate Mickey actually flew to Portugal to stand in for them and did some scrims with them. So
Like we're already waiting for long, like full day.
Okay, well, we will see how that goes. But in the meantime,
11 घंटे already
let's
इंतजार
get
कर
this
चुके हैं
show
11 घंटे
started.
कितने घंटे 12 घंटे
In just a second, we will get this show started. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We're getting
17
the players
people
in the
are
lobby
watching.
right now.
Please
There's
do
a little
hit
bit of a
that
delay.
like button.
Apologies everybody for the false start. That's on me. But
Make his channel grow for Sumail.
Let's right now we will get into this draft. Let's get the game started.
Quincy Crew versus OG.
मैं तो इंडिया में जा रहा हूँ
Quincy Crew versus OG in the lower bracket. Now this series, you love to see it, but in the lower bracket, little rough for both of these teams. but I'm here for it. Brian's here for it as well as T Golf, because we're here to break down this game, this draft in particular. I want to know from you guys, T, if you're going to look at this draft, who do you want to see set up for success most on the teams?
Oh, so of course OG, you have to go with Sumo, because the way that they play is always kind of propping up that one person to kind of take over the game. So Sumo, easy answer. I'll give Brian the harder answer for Quincy Crew.
I got an easy answer for that one. I'm going with Leslau. I think out of all the teams in this tournament, they're the most abnormal in the sense of how their offlaner likes to play. This man is top 10 MMR in a farming heavy region. He plays the Nature's Prophets, the Venomancers, the Necrophoses, the annoying farming, pressuring heroes rather than more of the melee brute strength heroes.
Yeah, we heard Quinn yesterday in that interview talking about the power of the Leslau Nature's Prophet. He made some nice sounds for the rat that we saw come out. Because Quincy Crew is coming up an absolute high, T. An absolute high.
अच्छा क्या IO ban किया नहीं तो सेव IO खेलता और हार जाता OG.
They also had that big comeback, and yeah, that's the kind of thing that you want in a lower bracket run. And you heard in the interviews, right? It's the idea that they were at their lowest lows in group stage, so it can only get better, right? And before we get in the draft, quick pop quiz. You've got Sumo versus Wa. Yeah? Yeah. Now, of course, they're now playing both carry against each other, right? So position 1 v position 1.
Following you.
Lifetime matches against each other, brother v brother. Who do you think actually comes out on top?
Who knows?
Sumo
Like
or
LC
Wa?
उठा सकता है. Nodal का LC pick बहुत ज़्यादा है इस पे.
Like 70%.
70%. Oh, okay.
It's a lot.
She played EG.
So I think the reason you pop in this question is because maybe the answer is
Don't
the other way
metagame
around.
this.
I mean, I'm
Speak
metagaming
from the
a little
heart.
bit. I mean,
Speak
Sumail has been on more successful teams than you are. It's simple as that.
Well, funny enough, it's only 80 games total, 43 to 37 to Sumail.
Wow.
So it's really not as like, I think most people would have
barely above.
Exactly, it's barely above 50%. So this really is a lot closer than you expect in regards to the brother versus brother. Of course, right now, OG is, pulling a little bit ahead in regards to TI performance.
The brother versus
now we've got a couple heroes in the draft.
A couple of heroes in the draft. We already have got 3 heroes on the board here. Brian, is there anything so far that you feel like is something that stands out?
I would just say this is ET is OG's comfort zone this tournament. They've picked it 5 times, 4 out of 5 wins so far. Tigav's talked about how they love buffing up their carry. You can do that in multiple ways. They've done it with the Legions, the Mags, or you can do it in the way of buffing up their damage by reducing the resistance on the opponent team. Obviously a very heavily favored hero this entire tournament, but I think ET, especially for a team like OG, is important.
Yeah, I love this opening from Quincy Crew because no
Magnus
matter how much you prepare for Quincy Crew, if you look at all the group stage games they played, Phoenix, not picked by him.
Like Dota का इस सीजन का पैच पूरा एग्नम शॉट के ऊपर बेस करके बनाया गया है. फर्स्ट 20 मिनट तुम गेम किसी के साइड पे भी नहीं जा सकता है.
Keep going at you,
गेम वहीं पे लटकता रहता है पेंडुलम की तरह एक तरह से उधर 20 मिनट के बाद रियल गेम चालू होता है जब एग्नम शॉट फुल गेम में आ जाता है. लाइक एग्नम शॉट
you need to kind of go, are you going to fight into it with skirmishing heroes, or are you just going to play for that defensive moment? Like, again, Spirit, they literally just did that. They picked 3 or 4 defensive heroes, and they're going to win that key fight, or they're just going to have that farming potential. You can never run into them. So, Mag Phoenix, they are some of the better heroes at just holding their areas, making sure that if OG runs into them, they're going to be able to lock down that fight and just take it to OG.
Yeah, I'd say that Phoenix, even though they haven't necessarily picked it in this tournament, is just a classic for this team. We saw in their best of 1 that I viewed their draft as more so what hero does each individual want to play this game rather than necessarily countering the opponent. And I would much rather see Quincy Crew in this spot because throughout this tournament, at their highs, they've looked high, and at their lows, they've looked really low. So at this point, do the TI8, Game 4, OG. What do you feel like playing? What are you going to carry us on? And I hope it's on MSS personally because he's a very farm-heavy 4, and Phoenix is one of the greediest 4s out there and can definitely take over a game.
He can indeed. I want to talk about the mid lane because Void Spirit, as you guys mentioned, most likely for Thompson in that middle lane. That's great. We see a lot of Void Spirit mid. We see a lot of different counters to it. And I think the jury's not out on if Storm Spirit is good against Void Spirit mid. Right, T?
Yeah, well, we did see Storm Spirit beat, handle a Void Spirit earlier today.
Was that the hero, though, or was that the player?
It's kind of one of those things where Storm, if you get it onto the high ground, right, and you're playing on your remnants, pushing out, you can easily bully the Void Spirit. Void Spirit needs a little bit more regen, so I can see why Storm should have the advantage in that, but it is very much like 60-40 Storm, I'd probably go with on a quick throw of numbers.
Yeah, I'd say it's slightly Storm favored, but I've seen it both ways, where either hero's picked first in the draft, so most players seem comfortable playing in their kind of. It's kind of like the Quap Puck of 6-7 years ago, back when those two heroes were about even in the mid lane, and it all came down to skill.
It does look like OG wants to remove a couple of spirits there, at least the Ember Spirit removed from the pool.
Bollywood movie
So far, are the bans particularly speaking to something here?
I guess the main one here for OG is the fact they banned out the Void, of course, because
illegal fight ko
previously I
legal
mentioned
karne
the
chale
idea,
the.
the essence of Quincy Crew lineup. If you look, look at the average game length for Quincy's wins, it's like 40+ minutes. Compared to OG, it's nearly touching, it's like 32, 33, right? So it does feel like Quincy is trying to play for the fact that the game most likely will last longer. They have struggled to find these quicker wins with their execution. So heroes like Void, like Ember, that can utilize that Empower from the Magnus, have that additional farm, take the fight to them, and then you don't need to play on your cooldowns. That's kind of what Quincy Crew is kind of looking for in their heroes.
I'll go on the other side. The Morphling is probably the best ranged hero to kill the egg, because you have a mag. The RP is going to deter a lot of the melee heroes. He has a really low base attack speed on the Morphling. And then the Legion Commander, despite losing to Secret yesterday, OG is 5-1 with it. So it's definitely just a signature for them. It gives one of its teammates attack speed to kill the egg, and also the potential save from press the attack on the RP.
Yeah, they so far have played it mostly, of course, in Position 5, but a little bit of a flex pick there too with the. Are there any flex picks possible on Quincy Crew? I know you said Phoenix could be 4 or 5, but both of those are supports. I'm assuming Magnus will be for less lap.
Yeah, I'd assume that too, but you could also maybe pivot it some kind of mid-roll situation. You just go farm war against the Void Spirit, but I don't want to see Quinn doing that.
Question है nature कौन उठाएगा?
He's a terrible mag. Like, he's got like 5 heroes that he's just on a whole nother level than anything else.
That's what I was leaning to, you know. Like, as I was saying, it's like there was going to be a big butt coming in for the Quinn factor, but Brian took it away. But yeah, 100%. It's like you could do it, but yeah, right now Magnus for Quincy is probably either going to be their 5 or their off lane. Phoenix is their their 4 or their 5. Like Quincy is keeping a little bit more open. Where again, like OG, they play one beautiful style of Dota, which is in your face.
Yep.
So draft defensive, and you should be able to maybe play into it if you have your spells up in the right place and time.
Yeah, because Brian, you said you wanted Quincy Crew to set up Leslie for success. Like that's the keystone player here, if you will. Picking the hero of your keystone player first is not the traditional answer.
Yeah, it seems like it's more like Quinn they're going to focus on, but at the same time, it could just be Yawar that gets the last pick. I'm really liking Monkey King. It's still in the pool. I know we haven't seen it too much mid, but I know Quinn loves his mid lane dominance matchups. Monkey King versus Void Spirit could be pretty cool here.
Well, here we go. It is indeed the Monkey King
That's
coming out for Quincy Crew.
Yeah, 100%. Quincy trying to keep everything a little bit more open here. And then the final ban from OG was Zersa. Again, another hero that can thrive with the accelerant of farm, with the Empower. You can take the fight, and I don't think OG's actually beaten Ursa so far in this tournament. It's also one of the reasons why they probably played it in their upper bracket game, because they're like, oh, this hero is so good. Then they lost with it. But yeah, very much OG does not want to play against the bear.
Yeah, and OG took a lot of time during the second ban phase we just witnessed, but no time at all, Brian, for the Nyx Assassin Luna combo.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I think you have to just pick a really strong duo in regards to doing their own thing here, because Quincy Crew's draft is so open-ended. This Monkey King Phoenix could technically be like a 4-5 combo. Could be a Monkey King mid or carry. So they could technically have, I think, 4 different roles getting picked in this specific pick. So I absolutely have no idea. Their team fight is really strong, but I'm thinking they might want to have a save, or maybe a more reliable frontliner. Neither Monkey King or Magnus, even though they're kind of tanky. Monkey King, especially when he's popped his ultimate, aren't heroes that ever want to get initiated onto, but they also kind of need setup for their initiation.
But that's why you see OG with confidence pick Nyx Luna, right? I kind of assume that Nyx is going to be the 5 supporting this Luna, because Monkey King, if it isn't that 4 role, you're trying to play with your Jingu, trying to beat down the enemy carry. A Nyx Assassin with the Carapace, with the Impale, 2 kind of ways to annoy the Monkey King and stun up that Monkey King. It is just going to give Luna free farm, and I think we've seen this trend maybe from OG, also kind of in most teams, right? It's the idea if you have a strong ranged carry, any 5 position goes.
There is like
Medusa come into popularity.
And Medusa open their shield, mana absorb shield, and Nyx doesn't use his second skill, it's going to be a double damage.
Pretty well. It does kind of give OG that ability to play their strong lanes, and, you know, the Luna. It's the lower bracket hero. Kyle tries to curse it on Twitter, but still, it does its wonders where if you're against these big cooldowns, you yourself, sure, you have a big ultimate with Eclipse, but the essence of your hero is getting Dragon Lance, the BKB, a Skadi, all tankier items to be able to park yourself in front of a tower, chunk down that objective, and then push to the next one with no real cares of, do I have to wait for a cooldown or two to come by?
I have a question regarding Quincy Crew's draft here, because we said we want to see Quinn on something typically Quinn-esque where he can win the game, but OG has started to ban out carries, so that means that they are assuming that that's still the one that is left to be picked up, meaning they're thinking probably Monkey King or Mag for Quinn. Do you like that, Brian? Monkey King?
We haven't really seen it from this tournament, but I think he's like platinum or master tier Monkey King. It's one of his most played heroes in pubs because, like I said, he loves his laning stage, and Monkey King is one of those 10th picks where you see a Kunkka or a Tiny or a Void Spirit melee hero mid, and you say, okay, I'm going to grief that guy while I free farm in the mid lane. So it's a little bit of an untraditional mid laner, especially this patch where we have these like mobile gankers. Monkey King has this weird power spike dynamic where he's super strong for like the first 7 or 8 minutes, but then he becomes a farmer for the next 5 to 10 minutes, similar to like a TA. So I want to see a more active carry from Yawar if they're going to be putting the Monkey King mid. That's why I like the Spectre and the Jug bans, because not only are they strong scaling against the Luna, but they also participate much earlier in mid-game team fights.
And then they go for the Furin. So you see from Quincy's ban, Darkseer and Night Stalker, heroes that want to kind of push your team forward. And we've seen other teams so far, and again, Fnatic as a great example, even though as a support, it's a hero that plays lane pretty well. These ranged supports, be it Phoenix, be it Lion, they do not like walking into the treants that Furin creates, and you can never bully the hero behind. So an off-lane Furin in this position will be able to remove the support factor of laning phase, and whatever carry is picked here, they need to be able to muscle up into this hero. Like, is Sven available? I didn't see the ban. Okay, they go for the Kunkka. So it's going to be the monkey carry, right, in this situation, and then the Kunkka mid.
And it's going to be a Quinn Kunkka and Yawar the Monkey King. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick's Assassin on the side of OG actually quite decent in dealing with the Kunkka, no?
To some degree, you can cancel the combos, but we just saw how Kunkka, if you have a good lane against Void Spirit, you go farm efficient, you rush that BKB, you can mitigate the nuisance of OG, and that's where OG, they need to make sure they don't lose that mid lane, because if this Kunkka does run around freely with the map, with a BKB, Fury won't do anything, Luna won't do anything. None of OG's lineup will be able to deal with a BKB to some degree until Luna has the farm, until the Fury has the farm.
All right, guys, it is time to get this series on the way. It's time for game 1 of OG Quincy Crew. First, though, we're going to head over to Jake, who's standing ready with the coach of Quincy Crew, Kezu.
Thank you so much. Hello, we are here with Kezu. Kezu, it's a tall task to outdraft OG. How did you guys think you did?
I think we did pretty well. I know them very well as players as well, and I know what my boys want to play, so I think we're very happy with what we got.
Absolutely. Elimination series. If you say this correctly, you guys win the whole thing, you'll go down in history. How do you beat OG?
We do our own thing and we will beat them.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll hopefully see you guys doing your own thing in this match right now. Let's jump into it real quick. We'll throw it to our casters.
Welcome everyone, the battle to the death here, Lacoste, as Quincy Crew take on OG in the lower bracket. What's your first read on this draft?
Just by looking at the heroes, we can expect OG to run at Quincy Crew. The panel talked about how they are going to need something to drag the team fights once the BKBs are up, but I see a lot of big cooldowns on these Quincy Crew heroes. So yeah, OG, they're known to go in and just keep the pressure going, especially when you see this like Phoenix ulti on cooldown. You know there's Wukong's command down. I think we're going to have an extremely interesting match with a lot of kills post 10-minute mark, because OG, looking at the lineup, you know, it's Luna, so that means that they're going to be grouping around early on. You have this Prophet coming out from the position 3, which means that he's going to get a lot of farm. Nyx Assassin scouting things out from Invis and Thompson on his signature Void Spirit.
So Quincy Crew going to have to pick their moments more carefully. Much more delicate draft for them, whereas OG, like you say, it's their play style, it's their drafting style. They run at you non-stop and they force errors from their opponents as we get ourselves into game 1 of this best of 3. Already smoked up, Quincy Crew looking to try and defend that mid lane, get as much
we already
intel
get
as
the
you
D-ward.
possibly can. And there it is, that straight up D-ward from No Tail. A signal of intent from OG already. And Saxa, oh, he's making a nice little home for himself here in that triangle, forcing Quincy Crew away.
Now they know that there is no ward, so they could potentially make a turnaround play, backstab potentially from the high ground, have the vision advantage. Quincy Crew approaching MSS and Leslau.
Yeah, reclaim their territory, kick them out. No more squatting by OG up in that triangle. Yes, we do have that. Little Monkey King, disguised as a courier. And some treants there as well, but Yawar, he's not going to give this zone up without a bit of a scrap. Gets a couple of hits onto Saxa. And it does allow Quincy Crew to get 3 of those first 4 bounty runes. And that was after OG started with some very aggressive pushes forward. So Topson, your Void Spirit in the mid lane, facing off against Quinn's Kunkka. Which way do you lean in this kind of melee versus melee matchup?
There's going to be a lot of harassment coming out from Kunkka. Topson will need to bring extra sustain. I expect supports to come around and protect the 2 and 4 minute water rune. So we'll see who makes the first move. There's going to be a lot of harassment, as I mentioned, on the Void Spirit, the cleave, and you also have a bit of an absorb damage from Resonant Pulse coming out from the Void Spirit.
Oh, No-Tail already with a double stun. Are they going for this? Can he body block MSS? He's forced the Fairy Fire and a good impale will at least keep Sumail away. The threat of OG already beginning, but there's Quinn, like you said, harassing and chipping away at Topson. I think that mid lane, once we get to 6-7 minutes, the panel said it as well, both of these players a little more sacrificial in terms of how much farm they soak up on the map, much more focused on playing aggressively and starting team fights.
I feel like whoever gets 6 in this matchup will just go extremely ham. There's a lot of, pride on the line. You might need to knock out OG. You might knock out OG out of TI. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the heads of these players right now. Back to the bottom lane. Lucid Beam, it got nerfed, so it's now level 1, 9 seconds instead of the 6 seconds before. So a bit of a nerf to Luna's laning stage. Still very strong laner.
Absolutely is, yeah. 7-3 on that CS. Sitting pretty up near the top, and No-Tail. Oh, he's being a busybody, throwing stuns onto Leslau.
Needs to be careful, still level 1 on that Nyx.
He's got nice base regen though, like with the Tango going 13 HP per second, so he'll be just fine.
For a second I thought you were doing mad, Gary, then I checked it and it's showing on screen. I'm like, how's this guy so correct?
Oh, Topson! Careful, buddy!
With the Fairy Fire.
He had the backup of Saxa coming as well. And they will bully Quinn away from lane, but there are water runes to be gathered up. Man, these punches from the ET just keep on coming. Well, it looks like MSS a little worse for wear in that bot spot. Will have to wander back and sell themselves back up to full. These Tidebringer hits onto Topson. Every time we look into mid.
It's a lot of damage, but there is potentially a turnaround play, or Seb could TP with his Nature's Prophet, deal a couple of extra hits, which could make the difference there.
Yeah, such a great aspect of Nature's Prophet, that ability to dogpile onto people.
And now we see Kunkka. This is his ability, one of the ways to dominate the lanes. Back to Fountain, bottle, full HP, full mana. Didn't talk too much about the top lane. We see Yawar on Monkey King, 11 CS, Seb. How's he doing?
I mean, it's a Nature's Prophet against a Phoenix support, right? So he's continually hitting them.
It's very hard. They don't deal well with the summoned units. And Saxa, he also managed to, leave some XP for Seb on the top lane, checking out the rune for Topson.
Topson dragged back into the Torrent. Quinn's gonna pummel him a little bit here, but again, no real kill threat. Just putting him in that threshold where the potential for him to die is there.
बॉटल है बट उसके पास HP नहीं है. सास्का ने सीधा सुसाइड कर लिया ताकि वो मिड लेन पे TP कर सके.
That top lane, he's had enough. He will return full HP, full mana, and potentially, bottle refill mid, right, with a TP.
Yeah, because Topson needs it. Topson right now sitting at 20% HP. Saxa, hurry up, where are you at?
Please, bro, come out and refill my bottle. There it is.
And we're gonna see water rune being picked up, use the bottle. Kunkka trying to stack the small camp. Meanwhile, and we'll pick up the bottom water rune.
And that allows that Void Spirit to stay in the lane, stay in the game. Pretty even in terms of CS between the two of them. But Luna really now becoming that forerunner with 13 denies as well.
That's a lot of denies, Gary.
That's a lot, isn't it? That's been down to Notel's hard work. Continually pushing back the Magnus and the Lion. Go on, high-five him.
Notel was expecting a lot more harassment, a lot more aggression coming out from the Quincy's off lane. He brought 2 healing salves, so Luna should be very confident in surviving, and also has 12 Magic Wand charges, so I don't think they can bring her down. There's going to need to be a rotation from Kunkka to actually kill Sumail early on.
Yeah, maybe even the Kunkka and the Phoenix. We'll see what happens. Monkey King, of course, notoriously a faster position 1 hero than some of the others, can get involved early on. We'll see what Yawar will get done in these opening moments of game 1.
Oh, Saska.
MSS contending with that pull across. It's been a bit quiet up top, right? Saxa and Seb, they've had Saxa move into mid, roaming around a bit, helping to TP and fill that bottle. Does leave Seb to lap up all of that.
All I can say, fuck you.
Damn well for himself now,
If you really want to watch original caster and want to hear the original caster, go watch in game. You can go search Twitch, Dota 2, and also you
Astral step to jump away.
No one can go back and refill the bottle for Thompson.
It's a lower bracket round 2
go
today.
back to base and TP to a lane, potentially TP to one of the side lanes, because I see Notel running down the mid lane,
now it's a
which
best of
means
3.
that he will be trying to
Because it's
soak
a day
up some
2, second
experience.
day.
Hex on Notel, but there is no follow-up.
Illusion for MSS. So that means no bottle refills. As OG bringing 2 supports into mid as well. They're really trying to... Oh, Seb. Oh, good sprout. Yawar cuts through the trees. He's got that Jingu going. One more touch. It's LOA.
LOA getting the first blood. Like, this is very important. Usually you would want to give it to Yawar if that's possible, but still getting a kill on your position. 5 Phoenix means quite a lot. And also he got a decent amount of levels. Level 4.5, 6 minutes in on your position 5 is not too bad.
A kill is a kill. Secure it one way or the other. Good skewer. As Laszlo gets himself away from the grasps of OG.
It's very hard for bottom lane to trade Sumail. 3 points in Lunar Blessing, which means 25 damage. Oof. So Nyx sitting at 80 damage per hit. Laszlo a bit low on HP. Has that Helm of Iron Will, which he will turn, of course, into Helm of the Dominator, something that has been popular throughout the group stage and the main event, where you can
enjoy the game, guys.
We've seen some cookies into Centaur Stomps, empowered creep, and also
हम चुप नहीं रहेंगे. हम हमारी बात करेंगे.
Climb the uphill, you can stack with it.
हमारा point of view रखेंगे. सबका point of view same नहीं होता है दुनिया में. एक चीज समझ लो.
Very reminiscent of that Centaur build, right? The Ring of Health, no items, just rush Ring of Health for your Vanguard. Similar from a lot of these offlaners nowadays.
Oh, thank God we're staying away from
that. We're away from that,
yeah. Now Helm is the new Ring of Health.
It is. It absolutely is. Seb, going to be jungling a little bit. He's got his TP ready in 10 seconds. Treads and the Blightstone. So potential here for any kill to be converted into an objective if they're able to get on top of Quincy.
Once Seb gets level 6, they're going to start to play a bit more aggressive on the sidelines, because there is a ton of damage coming out from Breath of Nature. LOA.
Well, he finds Seb.
Dive is ready.
He can get away from this, but he's been stomped up. Do they want to finish off the Phoenix? It's going to be a difficult task, isn't it? Meanwhile, mid, Sumail's made his way in there. Backed up by MSS. Quinn will get away, and LOA also diving out of the reach of OG.
I love this from Quinn. I check his quick buy, straight BKB after phase boots. Understand they have nothing that goes through spell immunity, no magic immunity, so it's going to be very, very tough for them.
And that fits his role in the team as well, right? That chaos creator, the action maker, so he'll be able to run around from a very early point.
As Panel talked about, a bit of a sacrificial. Mid sometimes sacrifices his own farm, so Yawar and the offlane can get more.
And also, it's indication of how fast they want to play, right? Because we've seen this build quite a lot. The double bracer into the BKB. Are they going to find him? Oh, yeah, they will. Yawar, this time allowed to pick up the kill as bottom. The tier 1 being dived. Quinn's here with an X mark in towards Notel, turning him up, and Shockwave back. He does get out of Carapace, so delaying the move that Quincy crew are making. The trouble being, he's being skewered around and destroyed by Quinn, while LOA is going to try to TP away. but Seb and Thompson are both there.
A lot of action happening. There's going to be a ton of pressure on the bottom lane. They even glyph. Like the value that they get from this glyph is stopping the mid push and also keeping their creeps bottom alive. I don't think there's enough for OG to stop the bottom push.
Sumail is wide out in the open. He's going to get comboed here by MSS and Quinn. Thompson trying to backstab and Sumail will survive. MSS hiding behind the trees, but they're broken by Seb, who sprouts him up. Pops his stick, but has never enough.
Okay.
Is he going to get stopped here? He's slapped up and his courier's died. A nice impale from No Tail and 4 heroes. OG bring the numbers.
They brought the numbers on a mid lane. They wanted to respond. They saw their bottom tier 1 tower falling. They bring the numbers on a mid lane. They get 2 kills, 4
and
Thompson.
Conversion into the tower as well.
And they get the tower. Thompson even gets the last hit on the tower. Double damage picked up, so that means that they're going to be playing even more aggressive right now. This is the lineup that does not rely on any of the cooldowns. They find the juicy stack.
They do. Not only finding kills mid, taking the tower, but stealing the stacks. Unable to get the Ancients just yet, but I believe Sumail will be eyeing it up in short order. Right now, he's up top. Should be able to clear through his own triangle, which it looks like Ancients have been blocked by that sentry ward, though.
मैं चुप नहीं हो सकता ना.
They need to devord it, because Luna would definitely love to spend a lot of time right now in the triangle. Mask of Madness is available. Moonglave's about to be maxed out. Also, I like what I see from Thompson. Kaya, straight into Saj. You're playing into so many stuns, especially Lion, so you're going to reduce that duration.
The X-Mark, the Lion Hex. Such a great build there for him. No need for the Yule Scepter. No need to rush the Aghanims in this kind of game. And it's
उड़ के काट दिया. क्या हो गया?
Much more of the carry-oriented build, right? It's less of the early game that Kaya Sands here, trying to fight along with LOA, but they don't have Supernova just yet. The Centaur stomp. Lelis, quite a bit of space here for his squad. No tell. He's not even going to die. The Nyx is out of there while Thompson.
LOA's level 5 only.
He's cutting into that Phoenix. Oh, dominating streak for Thompson. But will be losing his life for this. The Monkey King arrives and Yawar slices him in half.
Yeah, they went a bit too deep. Yawar joins the fight. They get the kill on Thompson. For Quincy, they don't have the level 6 on their supports. Finally, Lion buys the Tome. Finger is available. Unfortunately, LOA still not level 6.
If they have Supernova there, at least they try and force OG away from the fight. But not having such a vital teamfight ultimate really hurting Quincy Crew. 11 minutes in. The Magnus Helm creep. That's roaming around with MSS. That vision, the scouting capabilities. Showing off where OG are lurking.
As Sumail is pinging it out, someone needs to unblock the Ancients because he lost quite a lot of farm from this. And they also might need to spend 2 sentries to unblock it. There's the one. It's in range.
Are they going to find it?
It's not in range, Gary. Never mind.
Meanwhile, Dire. Yeah, there's that observer sentry wall that No Tail's looking for. Meanwhile, Dire, the Monkey King, empowered up, is clearing through some stacks of his own. Already has the Echo Saber. Not too far behind his counterpart. You expect Luna to really race ahead, but that Empower is going to allow the Monkey King to keep tabs on her in terms of net worth.
If they did not block that Ancient camp, Luna would be at 7k. Smoke from Quincy.
LOA now level 6. Whoever the X mark is pretty dead, and it's going to be Seb diving in. They'll throw the boat at him, and Seb, there is no escape from this. They've even got a Centaur to stomp him up.
Centaur even helps out. Also, Kunkka used both Ship and Torrent with the Arcane Rune.
So No Tail body blocking that. Oh yes, he is. Cheeky.
Funny business. When you play position 5 Nyx Assassin, I like what he's doing. Maxing out the carapace, lowering the cooldown, increasing the duration. 2 points in Impale is more than enough. We'll see if he decides to get just a valuable point in mana burn. Position 5 Nyx, you're more of a sacrificial 5. You want to go in. Carapace, even though it sounds like it's a easy spell to use, it's actually one of the hardest one in terms of, you press the button.
It's a skill shot.
It really is. Because if you misuse it, then you put yourself in a really bad spot. And most likely you're going to die.
I mean, I'm looking at Quincy Crew right now, Lacoste. green lights across the board. What do you want them to do? They've got all their ultimates. They seem fight ready.
They have Magnus. This is their big timing. Magnus, RP available with the blink. Now it's time to take a fight. Dobson already using the simulate.
Yeah, they will kick it off onto the Void Spirit. He has to steps away and the boat doesn't land. Saxa's there with a nice Earth Splitter. Wukong's command has ended. OG, they weather the storm. 2 ultis down.
That's exactly what they needed to do. They want to prolong the fight. Where's the blink skewer? Less loud thinking about it, but there is no tier 1 tower.
Yeah, biding his time.
While all this is happening, Luna is just farming the triangle right now. That sentry ward.
It lasted way too long.
Cannot find it.
They're still there. I guess No-Tail did get a bit of revenge, body blocking one of the spawns on this dire side of the map. And Saxa, yet again, planting his flag in this triangle.
No-Tail just memeing. Look at me, I'm the sentry now.
Well, that's what he's up to. Well, yeah, he's not moving around, he's just staying up there.
If you can take any pressure off the map for Luna to get her BKB, this is the big timing for OG. Once you get that Orchid, which is available on Nature's Prophet and getting closer to the BKB, they don't necessarily need to rush things.
Vitally important. And it's a bit of a step away from what we know and love and expect from OG, but here's LOA getting a high ground ward down. Sees Seb, but Saxa is going to try to stop this. Not landing it. The TP was far too quick. As they aim for Sumail instead. Leslau, he gets the RP down. And Sumail, half HP, there's no way out, is there? Eclipse and one, there may be a turn with No-Tail arriving. He doesn't land the stun.
Misses the stun. Shockwave in a second.
Can they get Sumail with an X mark? They surely can, but they TP in with Thompson arriving. They get back onto Yuan. They blow up the Monkey King in a 1-for-1 trade. Quincy gets a double blow.
That's a really good trade for Quincy. They managed to kill 3 of OG members while only losing the Monkey King, and Quinn's getting big. That's his BKB getting delivered. Sumail maybe expected a bit earlier help there from Nyx Assassin.
Yeah.
Even if Nyx lands a stun, Kunkka was still coming from the south, so he still dies. Dobson pinging things out. Quinn a bit too hard to kill. Might try to poke with possible Nature's Prophet. Try to get the BKB charge off.
Even with these moves, though, the net worth dead even between the two squads. The control of the map doesn't feel like it's edging one way or the other just yet.
Both teams playing very carefully right now. That was a good move from Quincy, picking off OG's carry. Scouting the Roche.
But now it's a waiting game.
Red light, green light, Gary.
That's the game they're playing, Lacoste.
There are no green dots, only one on Monkey.
Yeah.
So OG trying to use this as their advantage. Quincy Carew will definitely defend this.
They have to.
Try to poke, maybe delay it.
They do get a tower mid. And that will force OG to come back and try and stand off against them, but No-Tail. Missing the Impale on LOA means no kill. Dire even scanning the Roche pit there. But the ability now for OG to TP Seb top, apply pressure on the opposite side of the map is something that Quincy Crew are always going to have in their mind. Especially, do we go on this Phoenix? Because Leslau is here, gets a skewer.
Good carapace.
Yeah, good carapace. Does stop any kind of skewer play after the shockwave. And again, we return to our sides of the river. But if there's any team that understands this Nature's Prophet and the ability to split push and control the game, it's got to be Quincy Crew with Leslau, right?
Quincy will strike right now. They need to be pushing out the lanes to have them in good position. Monkey King disassembled. Echo Saber now has a BKB. We'll go back once again for that Echo Saber because it's too valuable item, but now they have 2 BKBs ready and a Blink Dagger on Mag. We still have not seen RP being used, so looking forward to that. Seb being pinged out.
That's the target they want to go for. Immediate TP, but in comes the RP. Bring down the Prophet. No more pesky Seb pushing out these lanes, as it looks like OG are rallying down in that bottom lane, still considering what kind of fight they can bring out here. They spot the Phoenix. Elder Titan Spirit with a Vendetta stun mid-air, they catch him.
Meanwhile, Corinth on the mid lane, full combo.
They're gonna get him. They found him. Quinn and MSS pair up to look for Sumail, but the BKB not enough. Thompson backstabs MSS, but he doesn't have any backup.
Oh, this is gonna cost OG quite a lot. Luna getting picked off twice and also using a BKB charge.
Feels bad for Sumail. That's a couple of deaths in a row where not really accomplishing anything otherwise. Yeah, torrented, stunned, hexed, and dies. So a good turn of events here for Quincy Crew. Again, you said that's their moment to strike. Use a couple of ultimates, get a couple of kills, and then calm things down. Return to farming with that empowered Monkey King, and even the empowered Kunkka, if he gets it. For now, relying on the Tidebringer for his farming. Thompson hungry for that Helm creep. And even looking into the dire jungle here, but not able to see any heroes. They will get a couple of D-wards though on that Obs and Sentry. And that's Roshan control, isn't it? Looking to really dominate the area around the pit.
Yeah, they want to have vision around the Roche pit because their heroes are really good at taking it. You have Nature's Prophet with Treants tanking it up. You have Luna.
Good stop.
BKB is available once again.
Doesn't have mana for stun. Earth Splinter's in, but LOA has the Supernova. It feels like OG were just trying to bait it out. No Tail will give his life for one of those ultis of a Quincy Crew. They do get a root on this. Elder Titan though is Saxa. He's got nowhere to run. OG can't hide. This being run at by Quincy Crew. The Wukongs. It's arrived.
Hex is available.
Thompson. 3 quick kills. Quincy Crew asserting their dominance. They're charging forward.
Quincy Crew just bringing the numbers. They're doing a very good job protecting their heroes. They don't have the best Roche taking lineup, so they need to chill a bit. Maybe once their AC is up, so that's gonna buff him up, give a bit more minus armor.
As long as you stay positive.
And now biding their time for those ultis to come up again. What's the... Oh, Seb. Sprouts, Yawar. Silences the Monkey
That's
King.
not gonna help
but he's
him.
dying 1v1. Yawar's Monkey King. That Dire Observer would a little deeper, knowing that Seb was coming. Allows them to set up on the Prophet. And again, it's Quincy Crew. Beautifully done.
Yawar's game read so far has been excellent. Joining the fights when it's necessary, jumping from 3 to 3, playing around the Magnus to give him that empower, staying on top of the network. His item build also very standard stuff, I would say, in this situation when there's so much at the stake. BKB once again going for that Echo Saber, and the next item is Scotty.
Yeah, and in comparison to Sumail we just saw there, Yawar doing much better across the board. Top net worth on the Monkey King. Far more kills. And far more game impact, like you're mentioning. Quinn. If anybody walks up that ramp, there he is. Oh, they'll know there's a bit of vision. Tapped by the Wrath of Nature. Quinn is such a difficult target to go on now with his BKB.
They cannot burst him down. They just don't have the tools. They will need to possibly lock him with the Nyx Assassin into ET Stomp, into Remnant, which is going to be very hard to deal with. You need to bring the numbers, you need to group around, and this is where Magnus Lion could make a counterplay. Also Phoenix level 12 on your position 5 has level 2 ulti. They don't have the egg hitters. If they can kill Luna or disable her, egg is not gonna be killed.
Yeah, who does it come down to then? Seb has to do it, but Seb has to be... Oh, the quick BKB. Very fast on the fingers. He's getting a little stun onto the Monkey King here. Sleeping the Magnus, and Carapace back, but MSS with a Hex. A bit of back and forth, but a 2-man start, the Supernova in the back.
Supernova.
They're gonna find them. Sumail has to BKB and run, but Laslau has the RP. Bloody gorgeous stuff from Quincy Crew, and they're gonna keep going for more. Seb, his X-Ball cracked back, he's dead. Quincy Crew has their number. Saxa with Thompson try and turn around onto Quinn. No tail ball back for this, but Yawar with a triple kill.
Thompson needs to be careful. Only the Simulate is available. Nice
he gets
dog.
away from the stun, and a double kill will be his. But another torrent's there for an ultra. Yawar's Monkey King. 9, 1, and 5.
He's just too powerful to deal with. They need to prolong the team fights. Even though they need to keep fighting and lower the BKB durations, it's gonna become much easier for OG to take a fight. They just don't have the tools right now to deal with this overfarm Monkey King and Kunkka.
1,000 gold. I like that. Very aesthetically pleasing. 1,111.
Phoenix arriving, as we mentioned, it's very hard to kill him. Shard was available, so that means a Supernova. Sunray during the Supernova, we're going to see that again.
And he was on that high ground, right? Just above the staircase when he got his egg off. Like he backs all the way up, knowing that they want to fight here. Even under OG vision.
That was such a good impale there from Lion, Earth Spike.
And there's the finish. Goes in for that RP. And Yawar, even when his BKB ends, he just knows that they've got them on the run. Great ability just to keep on running forward and battle. I mean, Thompson, there's just nothing he can do. He just dissimulates to try and get away from the stun, but that's it. Gets a double kill and bails away. OG feeling a bit worse for wear the way these fights have been going.
Sumail getting closer to Shard. This is the build on Luna that we've seen in the main stage.
They found Seb again.
There's too much damage.
DD Rune Kunkka slaughtering him. Yes, you'll find MSS and LOA, but Sumail is gonna run. Sucks up. Battling back onto Quinn. The X-Mark forces the BKB. A nice stomp in there, but Quinn has one of his own. The shiny golden god is chasing No Tail now. Quincy got to be a little bit careful though.
Need to pull back. Yawar, BKB is available.
Thompson's got a lot left in the tank, but you're right. There's Wukongs, there's BKB on that Monkey King, and potential buybacks from Quincy's supports.
Luna just hit level 18, so that means more beams coming out from her. Getting closer to that Shard. Shard, even though it got nerfed, it's still a very good Shard. We've seen in the previous series where there was a Crystallis and also Aghanim Shard, or the one before.
Hello.
Now inside the pit.
Hello. It's an Assassin who's got a carapace on the two of them with a two-man stun to go along with it. Laslau's blown up. Oh, Quincy crew, they thought they were making a move.
He's getting blocked.
OG to turn it back on them. They get the Luna though. Magnus for Luna doesn't feel so bad.
Saksa in a very bad spot trying to get out.
Little stomp there, but they'll scout him out.
This fight is over for OG. Thompson thinking about going back in again.
He's got No Tail there, but high ground vision spots Thompson coming in. He's under the outpost, and they know exactly what he's up to. Arcane Rune already used up. Thompson would love to have a bit of a scrap. Eyes up Quinn.
Playing a bit of a dangerous game here.
And he's looking towards MSS.
First silence, second silence into Remnant.
But now what? Dissimulate away, try and run and hide.
Fight might be over for OG, but it's not over for Thompson. Still thinking about going in once again. Arcane Rune available.
And No Tail playing on this dire side of the map. He's scouting, he's looking for anyone that's lurking. We'll get a D-ward as well. But Thompson's there. This pairing, just finding kill after kill, or do they? The boat turn around with Quinn arriving. They kill off the Phoenix, but now Quinn will chase down No Tail. Oh, he doesn't want to go for it. He's so afraid of what's lurking in the shadows.
Too afraid of the bug. It's very hard for him to play. It's like solo kill the next assassin. There's always going to be this fear of carapace, and he does not have any invis and any reveal.
And here's Yawar, that full up Skadi. Next up, the Basher in the quick buy for him. Quincy crew will have their ultimates already pretty soon, but OG knows there is a window here. 3 heroes smoked, Thompson one of them. After the Aghanim Scepter, heading into E-Blade, looking for that magic nuke damage, but also saves, right? The damage from Quincy crew, heavy physical from Monkey, Kunkka, and
yeah,
the Magnus.
Potentially there is a turnaround. Once he picked up that Aghanim Scepter, started playing a bit more aggressively. 2 supports, they don't have any kind of defense tools, so he will need to jump the back lines. Try to burst the Phoenix, play with the Nyx Assassin, who can provide the vision.
Well,
smoke from Quincy.
OG 3-hero smoke. Quincy respond with 5. The entirety of OG, though, up in that top lane. Soft pushing it with a Treants. Scouting with No Tails Nyx.
Also bought Gem, so they can see Nyx Assassin. He's been very annoying. Historically, any Hex, Shaman, Lion were always powerful against the Nyx Assassin. Can't use that carapace.
Catch him before he can turn your damage back onto you. Great to Treants. Gonna whack away at that top tier 3. Quincy Crew not having any of that, though. They are straight into the Roche pit.
Now they have 3 BKBs. Even Leslau finished his.
And there's no context
They know,
here from OG.
they
They
need
know
to know.
this is
No one's
happening.
showing up. They need to know something fishy is happening.
They get the Aegis for free. Top tier 3 is half HP. But OG don't get the finish. They want to fight this still, though, even with the Aegis in hand. OG, Quinn nearly blown up. Can they take him down? They'll get it.
Yes, they can.
Cook
Can
has
finish him.
No Tails traded out, and they pull it back on Quinn. Great Bowler strike, though, from Yawar. Picks up Sumail, and straight back onto the ET. Fake pump the RP. Leslau didn't even need it.
There was like no way they go into that fight and kill Monkey King twice. The BKB, the Aegis on him, he's just too powerful. Level 23 right now. They need to be very aware how strong he is. They didn't even use 3 ultis. There's still 3 green dots on top of the screen for Quincy.
Yeah. Like at the very end of that, Leslau was like, do I have to? Now I can hold my RP for next fight. 4 minutes left at Aegis 2.
Quinn expended his buyback. I don't think it's that costly. Still, OG cores are keeping up in terms of net worth.
And the longer we drag this game out, the more efficacy this Prophet has in the ability to split push lanes, control that map, and do physical damage. He's got Witchblade, Orchid, heading into Shadowblade. He is becoming another carry hero.
No Tail scouting him out.
Hello. Bit of monkey business. LOA's behind him.
They need to protect Luna. They need to have some kind of protection. Nyx Assassin finally finishes his item. That force tap could make a difference. Nice
With a
carapace.
Spirit on top of him, he's going to get stomped up here. Sumail, he's waiting for his moment. There's Thompson blinking in the
RP
back
on
with the
one.
RP on the Luna. They catch her out.
Inside the
Wukongs, and down you go. MSS is go-scepted up, and they're going to find another one. Quincy Crew with another couple of quick kills. Beautiful execution, and with Quinn coming in, they do stomp him to stop the combo, but Yawar is so strong!
He's out of everything to simulate the big AoE, but still, he's gonna drop.
Gets that streak away from Thompson. Luna and the Void Spirit both dead. Massive kills here and a monumental victory for Quincy Crew.
Leslau not even flinching, not thinking about it twice. He
There's
sees
the Luna.
Luna, RP straight away, skewer back inside the Wukong's command. There is too much damage coming out from the Monkey King. Still 2.5 minutes left on it. They're gonna go for the high ground push. There is Kata, and there is also an Alpha Wolf.
Oh yeah, and a couple of shard golems as well. Go on, little buddies. Get up to the high ground and,
Leslau
and
does not want to micro the Alpha Wolf, just presses move on Monkey King. Now Wolf, you know, still in.
Meanwhile,
being very
top
close.
lane.
Oh, Notail needs to be careful.
He does. He tries here on the Monkey. They silence him up, and all that damage! Where did his HP go? Aegis gets popped out, and top lane, I think, has lost a tower, denied by the Lion, as you are. Well,
Safe trade
BKB
from
TP,
Yawar.
so an
It's a 6
even
second
trade.
BKB.
As long as we stay positive, we'll win.
Yeah, just keep it out. Did not want to risk anything. He knows there are no BKB piercing abilities. It gets out immediately. I always feel BKB, you know, I'm never going to get used to BKB going from 10 seconds to 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Because it feels like what chocolate factories are doing and like chips.
I'm sorry,
you
what?
You pay the same price nowadays, but you get the less, you know, amount from it.
Oh, you're paying for air in the bags,
Yeah,
aren't you?
pretty much.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. I mean, back in our day, we could sell BKB and buy a new one, Lacoste.
Yes, we could.
Long gone. One of those days, though.
I'm very happy that we cannot do that anymore, because the games would be pretty boring.
Infinite games, infinite buybacks, and infinite BKBs. We're in a really good place right now. Quinn has a Scythe of Ice queued. So that's even more control to be able to handle the Void Spirit, who, you know, he's been one of the struggles, one of the challenges Quincy Crew has been having is dealing with Thompson. So far, it's been focus Sumail, kill him off. Do you think that Seb's and Thompson's build here have been an adaptation to that, knowing that Sumail will be a target? They're building more into the kind of carry builds here, from the Prophet especially.
Yeah, that's what Nature's Prophet does. He wants to be able to scale. You have a scaling lineup coming out from your off lane as well. Now has like that Witchblade, the Orchid. They want to prolong the team fight. They want to keep them as long as possible. Try to bait one of the big spells. And ET, he finally finished his item. This is what Saksa has been saving for. Aghanim Scepter done, Mask of Madness queued up. I think Fog would be pretty proud about this build that he's going for. Also, like just max move speed, phase boots, wind lace, and also holding spider legs.
If there's a hero or an item build that shows off EG, it's that right there. Run at you with some big heavy punches.
Well, we brought EG into this game. I guess you meant OG.
OG,
but,
sorry.
Yeah, a lot of Gs. Everything's gaming, esports, e-gamers.
Oh, don't bring e-gamers into this, Lacoste. We've told you about that. Is it smoke time from Quincy? They're all grouping up here. Still quite a long time to wait for the next Roshan. So we'll need some fights.
Monkey King. Level 25, full Abyssal Blade. So even if you have a BKB, you're still not gonna be secure. You're not gonna feel safe. And that extra Wukong's Command Ring. It's great for sieging. Quincy Crew, they don't need to rush anything. Next Roshan will spawn in 2 minutes. So if they can possibly get a pick off, that'd be great. But they're playing for the Roche timing.
Yeah, and there we saw double Eon Disc, Abyssal Blade. Tons of ways to win a team fight for Quincy Crew. No Tail yet again being very pesky. Sneaky bug in that dire half of the map.
Great itemization from Quincy Sports.
Behind.
Those two Eon Discs are going to keep them alive. Here we go.
And there's the Eon Disc already. Nice hands to stick with Eon Disc, but they're blowing up. LOA. Thompson gets both supports. Now Quinn. Oh, he's got BKB ready. He's going to have to use it here. He's going to have to run. But no, you are. He's been stunned. A horn toss back finds No Tail. But a Wukong's command for a Nyx Assassin, and losing both supports feels pretty bad for Quincy Crew.
That was such a great execution there from OG. Poking, proccing the Eon Disc, and then going back in again. Thompson using the full combo, and now holding the gem. So that's going to be the big one. They can see Kunkka, they can get the D-wards, and their Nyx Assassin can feel a bit more safe going in and initiating from the invis.
Yeah, Thompson the one holding it. There is a high ground ward for Quincy there, though. So he's not going to spot that just yet. While Leslau sees him perfectly. Knows that Saksa is just behind Thompson. But there's the horn toss, drag him back in. Thompson will dissimulate and E-Blade and blow him up.
Oh man, this is a classic Thompson play. Gets horn tossed and still manages to get a kill. Hits level 25, dissimulate stuns for 2 seconds. So that's gonna be very hard. He has an extra ring, also extra damage coming up from the shard.
And it felt like Leslau maybe could have RP'd that, but you're right, Thompson just outplaying him. Now with an Eon Disc of his own. Even more impervious to the Quincy Crew abilities to catch him out. Scythe of Voice done on the Prophet now. Is there someone to play with No Tail down here? Seb is pretty distant. So No Tail's Nyx just going to try and keep tabs on the Monkey King. See if he jumps across the canopy.
There, he's dead. Yawar knows. He knows something's fishy.
Something's going on down there. MSS is even here. Bring everybody to this. If OG is setting up, we will as well.
Roshan will respawn in a second. There he is. Sumail scouting it out.
Straight into the pit.
They just saw members of Quincy Crew on the bottom lane. While Seb is showing top. Buyback. Not available on him, but has a full Sight of Vice. This Roche is going to go down so quickly. Quincy's not going to be able to respond.
They are nowhere near fast enough. That's a huge grab for OG. Oh, look. Oh, he's a massive golden piggy. Beautiful. And there it is. Roshan falling. OG claiming the prize. Saxa grabbed up by Quinn. X-Mark dragged, and the backstab again from Thompson.
BKB.
Forces the supernova, but the Abyssal Blade, oh no, he's out! You cheeky devil just assimilates away thanks to that Eon Disc.
Yeah, that Eon Disc. Ghost Ship Fleet not hitting anything. They're thinking about going in.
Oh, they got Quinn.
Assassin.
He's got no BKB. He's dead. One more touch will secure it, and with no buyback, they'll need the RP. Inside the Wukong, Sumail skewered back. That's a good amount of damage, but MSS, he's been destroyed. Sumail going deep with Thompson. They want LOA with the E-Blade strike, but they can't finish off the Phoenix. Instead, they want the Monkey King slapped up, and a big splitter will rip him in half.
Buyback available, needs to do it.
Has to buy back, and we're in a 3v5 as OG shred their base.
OG did not lose a single hero. Kunkka, since he bought back in the previous fight, he does not have gold. Buyback is available. And Roche, if they want to play this safe, they can go inside the pit.
I mean, they still have 4 minutes left.
They're a bit low on HP.
Sumail going high ground, 3 minutes 40 on the Aegis. They can keep pushing this. They must know. Sensing blood in the water now. Quincy Crew, a wounded animal. And OG and the Hunters looking to finish off the kill. Thompson, he's online. They've got you all.
This is it. They
game one done.
They're calling it. What a turnaround from OG in game number 1.
After a superb laning stage and early game from Quincy Crew, OG pick their moment.
That was a Thompson show. Sumail, they had his number. They shut him down completely. But when it mattered, Thompson managed to pick the team up, play around, go for those risky plays. The classic Thompson show.
Really gorgeous, gorgeous stuff there. Game 1 victory for OG. And in a different fashion to what we've seen them, throughout history, throughout the group stage. This was much more calculated, timing-driven. 40 minutes in, right, let's go, boys, we're ready.
They're ready, they really were ready. Also this build with the E-Blade, amplifying damage and also having amp damage on level 20, plus playing with the Spirit. Oh, man.
The victory dance. No Tails feeling it. My boy's going to feel so happy about that. And with that, we'll head it back to the panel.
Thank you very much for an amazing cast. OG took the match, and now Quincy Crew is 1 game away from getting eliminated from TI. We saw on Twitter, one of our fellow casters, Kyle. Tweeted. He tweeted, and it just went awry. What was it that he tweeted?
He said, "Oh my God, Quincy Crew are doing it," and that was right when all of us collectively looked at each other and were like, "We know what's going to happen. We've seen this before. It's too strong, Kyle curse."
Heartbreaking loss, really. It's such a hard way to lose in an elimination series. Luckily, it is a best of 3, but that's the kind of loss that's really going to hit you hard, Sumi.
Yeah, that's like definitely a momentum stopper, especially with Quincy Crew's success yesterday. But on the other hand, it's a total change in momentum for OG as well, because they came from a very difficult loss, and now they had a great win and a great comeback in that game as well. What happened there? I mean, it seemed like in the beginning of the game, right? Quincy Crew really had a firm grasp on the game. They had complete control, and then they didn't really do anything with it. It seemed like they were playing. They changed to play a little more defensive with their 5. What happened there, Insania?
I feel like Quincy Crew were playing the early game extremely well. Like, everything was going in their way, and they were managing to set up a lot of plays during a part of the game that I thought was going to be difficult for them. I thought the Nature's Prophet pressure on the lanes was going to divert their attention away from the Luna, but they really managed to chase Sumail around and put the pressure and keep killing him constantly, which I think for OG, it's something that I haven't really seen in their games before, where Sumail's the one that's getting pressured. They're usually able to take over control of the game and make sure that the people that are dying are Seb, No-Tail, and maybe Thompson, but this game, Quincy Crew really brought the fight to Sumail, and I think that's what made OG struggle a bit.
So one thing that we were looking at, or that everybody was screaming about during our talk in the green room, was the last team fight in the upper side of Quincy Crew's base. The production crew managed to get that clip for us. Let's take a look. Can you break it down for me, Gods and Lyrical, the caster extraordinaire?
Lyrical, that's you.
I mean, no, they're going in. No, I'm not going to do that. So I think that like this E-Blade build from Thompson is just like so devastating, and it's just like a blow up, right? Right at the beginning of it, as soon as you can take somebody out of the fight, it just feels like from that point forward, everything fell apart.
OG just had a really good understanding of how to find those openings to win this game. Like, this all started with that Carapace on the Kunkka cleave where they just blow them up. And you mentioned, like the Dagon build, it's like, okay, they've got this, I think Kunkka looked like an amazing last pick here. I thought it was like the perfect pick for this game because he is so tanky and hard to kill, but they itemize around that E-Blade Dagon. They make sure that when they get that sudden catch, they can actually blow up like a 3,000 health Kunkka before he gets his BKB off.
Well, and in a lot of ways, it's balanced around the idea of the rum buff, right? That you're going to be able to get that ability off, but if you get fully controlled by the Nyx Assassin, it kind of falls apart at that point.
Yeah.
And the other big one that felt like it was a turning point in that game was the Aegis blow up on the bottom side when they were going for the high ground against OG. And as soon as that happened, you could see they're like, all right, we have to wait for the next Aegis. And from that point forward, it just felt like it was all OG's game.
It was pretty crazy seeing those like scores at the end. Like Sumail was like 1, 6, and 7.
Yeah. I think in terms of playstyle, like that is not at all where OG wants to be. I think they're not really perfectly happy with how that game panned out. I do think Thompson, this game, like his Aeon disc, that was genius. He jumped into 4 heroes and then they used a lot of BKBs to remove the silences to try to burst him down as soon as possible, and he survives. Egg is used, and then Nota sets up the Carapace in base. And I think just that item almost single-handedly won them this game, I think.
All right, well, we will see if OG can play a little bit more to Insania and their own standards. But first, we have a quick check-in with Casey, who has been following the hashtag TI10 conversation on social media.
We did it. We made it to TI. It has been 2 years that all of this hype has been building, so I thought it'd be really fun to kind of go through some of the conversations that we're seeing online since this huge community is coming together virtually and watching some of the best Dota that we've seen in a really long time. So, and yes, welcome to my office, my humble abode. This is a Diplodocus. Anyway, on to the tweets. So I was looking in the last couple of days, and as the event was approaching, I thought I would get to a couple of different tweets that people had, one of which turned out to be a little future predicting. So let's take a look. We'll get to that one in a second. But this first one says what I think all of us feel, which is I'm most excited about the emotional roller coaster of absolutely hating the team that knocks out my favorites, but then wholeheartedly cheering for them the next game because my heart is just bleeding for some crazy Dota. So thought that was a really accurate way to describe how a lot of us feel going into TI. And then this next one, I think we all need to follow Real Fees because he seems to know something we don't. This was before the matches happened, but said, the lower bracket matches, I don't see where EG or Quincy go if they lose. Especially EG, major shakeup could be headed our way. It happened. It happened. Oh my God, I'm so nervous for them. I'm nervous for everybody. So that was just some of the crazy Dota. I think what's so cool now that TI is here is that we're remembering the level to which everybody plays on the main stage. And so I went on my Twitter account this morning, maybe it'd be tonight, your time? It was earlier today, and asked folks what they thought the craziest, most interesting match was of the tournament so far. So I wanted to show you 4 different takes on that. If we could just take a look at those really quick. The first one says possibly any game that LGD plays in, but the highlight so far most definitely was game 2 between LGD and T1. Absolutely intense. And then Paul Goyo said PSG LGD game 2 against T1. Whoa, Paul, you got like a list going. I like it. Fnatic Undying, QC versus Aster, and IG Spirit game 1. And then Slaya said Quincy Crew versus Team Aster as well. So a lot of people are agreeing on that. Finally, as everybody is watching all of these matches and the games online, feel free to let me know what you think because I'm watching the hashtag TI10 and trying to gather as much as I can. And I would love to share some of what you're saying on the broadcast so that we can all feel like one big happy family. Mostly happy. Slacks, I'm looking at you. But I do want to remind you the teams themselves are watching. They're reading. Take a look at this. A simple yes from Alliance in response to that tweet. We are watching you You are watching us. All right, let's get back into watching some crazy Dota. This is fantastic. Also, I will give a prize to anybody who spots some of the Easter eggs hiding in my office here. And by prize, I mean I have nothing. But good luck. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey. It's very interesting to see what matches people are most excited for, because it actually turns out that everybody is excited for everything, because the TI is just the place where everyone brings out like all of their strats and all of their, you know, maybe Team Secret brought out their secrets, but I mean, ultimately everybody's here to enjoy some Dota, and I feel like we've been seeing some great matches so far. What about you guys? What match did you guys like the most, Gods?
I think I'll have to like third or fourth, fifth that Quincy Astra game. It was absolutely phenomenal. You know, I think also just TI as a whole, it's been over 2 years. So yeah, the games just are been crazy seeing TI level Dota again.
Yeah, I like the Quincy Crew game as well. That one was sick. I got to guess, it was so much fun. But the other one that happened earlier on in the day too was that Spirit matchup. The very first one of the day, the main event, where they were able to make that comeback happen and just end the game going tier 4s. I was right next to Vlad, who was like losing his mind about the young Eastern European squad doing it. So it was a good one as well.
I might be biased, but I think the first match, OG versus Alliance, like opening TI being back, I think for me that was like the most memorable one. I thought it was a really good game. It was really fun to watch, but I think mostly just TI starting, you know, that feeling.
So what do you feel? So now coming back to this, so two people said that they enjoyed Quincy Crew. We're currently watching Quincy Crew's journey through the lower bracket, and now they're kind of on their back foot here. How do they regroup? Like, what do they do to like regroup and say, hey, we can still do this, especially against a monolith like OG and Sania?
I think it's very simple. You gather the team and then you send them good vibes.
Good vibes.
So simple. So good.
It's like that.
Just like that.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, yeah, good vibes, but what else? What else can they do?
I think ultimately that's all you can do right now. You got to keep the spirits high, and you got to make sure you go into the game believing that you can do this, because if you don't, it's going to be really, really tough.
The other thing that I would say about this team in particular is that they can come back into that one being like, hey, we made a couple mess ups, but we were winning that game. We were doing well. Let's just try and finish it off. And then, I mean, OG, I think that they're coming at that feeling really good with the win. They feel like they got away with one. That's the type of game that you need to win if you want to win TI again, be able to win games that you're not supposed to.
Do you think that OG might be still feeling a little shook by that early game in the first game, or do you think that maybe now that they've activated or something?
I always get this vibe that OG is just a team you can't shake. Ever since they won that first TI against LGD in the grand finals, and they were down, 30K gold. Machine was ready to do a winner's interview with LGD during that game 4. I think the Dota buff win probability was 0%. I don't think anything shakes OG. I think they'll see and talk about the mistakes perhaps, but ultimately this is a team whose biggest strength is always being the mental game.
This is really where they're their strongest, not necessarily the lower bracket, but TI in general. And they're incredibly comfortable up on that stage. You can see them there. There's no sweat on the brow, no nothing. They're ready for another match and just taking care of business.
Do you think that they look a little bit more tense than they did on the first day? On day 1, they walked into the booths. They were super happy and smiling, looking at their faces behind them on the big screen, and kind of just kind of admiring it. Now it seems like they're a little bit more focused. Do you think that this is like they're just feeling that pressure of being in the lower bracket in Sania?
I think maybe a little bit. I think
Only a little?
it's hard to, because I think their mental game's good. They seem to be smiling mostly when you look at them. But I do agree with you that maybe like a good 5-10%, like, hey, we haven't been in this position before as much as we have been in the upper bracket. So I do agree with you. I think a little bit of pressure probably.
I feel like I saw also there was like one moment in there where Seb, like, he's sort of rubbing his face a little bit. Things were looking a little bit scary, but in the end they were able to pull it together. So I think that you got to watch in the game. The key tells are like when the voice wheel lines start slowing down a little bit. Can the team sort of regain that momentum? That's what you want to watch for.
The tips came out in the end of that
match.
And even when they were losing, I still saw Notel spamming that, if we stay positive, we can still win voice lines. So with OG, I think a win like that is almost like even bigger confidence boost because they were struggling in the early game and they bounced back. It was like a classic OG game where they managed to turn things around. I think that they're going to feel like they're in Quincy's head because Quincy kind of threw away one that they had an edge in.
And on the side of Quincy Crew, they're one step away, but they can still take it to 1-1 and go into game 3. What do you think they should do regarding their draft to fix any mistakes, or is it just wait for OG to make a mistake on their side?
I think what they did in this game really well was that they forced the issue onto Sumail. I think they were really, really on Sumail, and they did not let him play his game. And I think if they want to have a shot at winning the second game, I think they need to keep doing that. I think the idea that they came into the game with was really good. It honestly, for me, just came down to like going on this Aeon Disc Void Spirit.
I was also really impressed by Seb's ability to feel like become the real carry in that game in a way, right? Like the Nature's Prophet, obviously you're always going to get farmed on that hero, but it felt like he was the one that was kind of carrying the load because there was so much pressure on Sumail. So it felt like OG did a really good job of adjusting to that pressure, and we'll just see if Quincy can keep it up though.
So pretend you're Quincy Crew's coach, right? What would you tell your team, like mentality-wise or game-wise? What do you do?
Yeah, I think this moment is less about like strategy, as we kind of touched upon. It's more about maybe it's Jack. He's kind of like the spiritual coach, like he's friends with everyone on the team, and as well as I'd say LOA, aka SVG, who's been around this team. They're probably the two calming voices that are trying to remind everybody of, we've worked really hard for 2 years. We stuck together. Obviously, it was really hard to play throughout, the pandemic, and Quincy Crew, they stuck it out. They're here at TI. This is what everything built up to, and it's like, if anything, just enjoy this last moment. If this is going to be the game that you get eliminated on, so be it, but just try and play your best Dota.
So now that we have, we may potentially see an elimination immediately after this game, what are your hopes for this series? Do you hope for a game 3? Do you have any favorites, any biases in here?
Game 3, hell yeah. I mean, I always hope for game 3. So.
I do as well. I think that this is the type of game, too, that, like, if it does go to a game 3, it's going to be really good because we've already seen, like, an epic comeback that happened in the first one, right? Like, these teams, I think, by and large, are fairly evenly matched in terms of, like, the sort of in-game stuff. It's those intangibles that I feel like OG is the one that has the lead in, and they're the ones that have been able to sort of take that commanding lead in this last game. So if Quincy could find a way to force it to a number 3, it's going to be one of the best series of the tournament, probably.
And the rivalry between the two brothers, do you think that will possibly like go up in level now that they're not on even footing anymore in Sania?
I would imagine at this point, they've kind of stopped thinking about it. Now they're just playing Dota. I think it's before the series you kind of think about all the outside factors, but I think at this point, I doubt Sumail is even thinking about Yawar, and likewise the other way. I think they're just thinking about, okay, how do we beat our opponent?
They're both looking a little stressed right now. If you were if put yourself in their shoes, if you were Sumail, what would you be thinking right now? Because you're one game up.
I think if I'm Sumail, I'm thinking I'm bored. Let's get this game started. Why won't the casters stop talking?
Casters, push the start button, please.
Yes, I think that's what he's thinking right now.
All right, but what about Yawar?
Probably something pretty similar. I think these guys both love playing Dota and they just want to get into the game.
All right, well, we will actually get into the game right now.
Quincy Crew versus OG. Game 2.
Very happy we get to see more Dota between these two squads. We got OG and Quincy Crew ready for the draft of Game 2. I'm here with BSJ and T-Gov. Very happy with the Hassan Bowl as well, the two brothers going up against each other, because for a while, at some point, it didn't actually look so likely that Yawar was still continuing to play Dota. It was only Quincy Crew's success that kept him from not going back to university, Brian, and sticking with Dota instead.
Yeah, and I remember watching Leslau on stream also say something similar, how Quincy Crew was the last opportunity for him. He was going to commit full time to streaming, and so I think a lot of people see these teams, and it's hard to humanize the players sometimes, and there's a long road, a lot of stories that lead up to this, and to think how much these guys have been through in the last 2 years together, obviously the whole world with the whole COVID situation, but this is the culmination of all of that. The road could end right here, and it's been a long one.
Yeah, and they have been faced with elimination already. They were yesterday in the best of 1, so The fact that they potentially only have one game left shouldn't phase them, T.
You'd hope not, right? Because I think, what's it, SVG, he's multiple times mentioned, even Quinn mentioned it in his interview, it's like, they know that this is like, you're eventually going to get eliminated for TI unless you win it, right? So I feel like this is the team that has already kind of got that tone in the booth already down. It's like, let's just play our game. If we win, we win. If we don't, we gave it our all. And like Brian was mentioning, right? For like Quincy, it's been a hard 2 years. Like even for like Undying as well. Like North America, outside of like EG, it is kind of like that battle to stay as a team, hope to get to a tournament, hope to get some of that prize pool, and then obviously they get to TI, which does help a lot. So yeah, it's just it's a story of a long road. But anyway, if they win this game, still a third game on the cards, they can still keep it alive.
Yeah, let's talk some Dota here then, Brian, because we got the opening for both squads on the border, rather. At least 3 heroes at the moment. Tweak here is the Nature's Prophet, the Elder Titan being banned out here by OG. So, of course, they had the chance to pick it up first previously, but are you happy with the opening so far?
Yeah, I'm interested that Quincy Crew decided to upgrade the Monkey King from a second-round pick to a first-round pick. Most likely won't be a carry since it's first rounded overall as opposed to last game, but I think Yalwar had a great game. I worry for Quincy Crew and their ability to close out the game because OG is going to make you play sound Dota for the entirety of the entire game as well. Like what happened that last game was just OG capitalizing on a few mistakes, maybe just little overcommitments from Quincy Crew, and they've got the ability to punish that again with the Earthshaker, Snapfire, counter initiation, or just straight up initiation.
Yeah, and you see here, OG is second pick in the draft, which means, of course, Quincy has to pick the first hero entering into the pick phase. And the bans from OG themselves, they actually ban out 2 of the heroes that they would be picking themselves, right? The Tiny and then the ET. And a lot of teams against OG, if their first pick, they ban out 2 and then they pick the other one, right? So it does feel as well like OG kind of forced Quincy's hand a little bit, going, okay, we're going to ban out 2 of the 3, right? And then if you don't pick the third one, we'll get it for ourselves to make that play. So very much OG trying to control the draft a little bit just by kind of banning for their own heroes, pushing it into Quincy's side.
Yeah, Void Spirit picked up by Quincy at the moment as well. Void Spirit has been quite a successful hero for Quincy Crew this tournament. Only 1 loss, but 3 wins in their group stage matches. Well, I say group stage, but yesterday, of course, in their lower bracket best of 1, they also had the Void Spirit on Quinn. I want to talk about that best of 1 a little bit because this first game that we just watched was pretty similar in the role of the Nature's Prophet. We had Leslau and Seb, both in that Nature's Prophet in the game yesterday and the game today, and they both did the same thing. I'm wondering, that Nature's Prophet in this draft, is it time for maybe an early ban for that hero now that we are in the second ban phase?
If you're Quincy, I'd maybe even argue no, just because you already have big kind of mobile heroes that can always find those kind of ratting style. And the issue for Quincy in that previous game was simply they had all the team fight in the world, but if there was a hero kind of cutting into the middle of their heroes, be it a Void Spirit, and then you had the lanes pushing in, it's hard for that kind of unit to move around the map very cleanly. So it was kind of like a perfect demonstration of backline catch with the global wrap of the Fury. And so yeah, Quincy right now probably not too concerned about it because they have the Monkey King and the Void that can always find these heroes.
I did like that Quincy Crew turned up the pace of the game, was making a lot of plays around the map with the Lion as well as the Mag. Even the Monkey King was participating with the Empower, didn't need as many damage items to do his job, but the Nature's Prophet, like that's just the chaos factor that OG brings, right? So, that hero incarnates chaos. Like I watched Jenkins play, and he's just laughing maniacally as he meteor hammers towers and forces 4 people to come kill him. And the only difference between him and these guys is they're doing the same thing without feeding relentlessly.
And not flying meteor hammers.
True. They do not do that part either.
Yeah.
Thank goodness indeed. I would imagine though, I mean, having that chaos factor is nice and all, unless it's on the opposing team. So we'll see if anybody gets their hands on it, because even if you feel like you can deal with it, with the vision of the Monkey King also from Quincy Crew, it's still an X factor that you can't really prepare for, at least not in the way. Because in the first game, they were doing real well. And then Kyle tweets, and all of a sudden they're losing.
Yeah, again, it's the timely tweet, and of course the fact that OG, they hit a really nice timing at like 30 minutes, right? They pick up the E-Blade, they have the A on disc. It does kind of completely disrupt Quincy's game plan. And like right now, when you see these 2 heroes that they have, I'd like to see them kind of at a crossroads in the draft, right? Of course, 2 picks in. they either fully lean into this skirmish and just go all-out fight, get some cheap stuns, allow yourself to never allow Snapfire to get some good spells off, and then you go to them, or you use these two heroes to unlock your early game, and then you can have like a Spectre type. Oh, Spectre's actually banned by OG, but
good call.
Thank you. Yes, these glasses are very helpful. But some Spectre type hero, right, that secures your late game. You fight and you farm behind.
I did like the Spectre yesterday for Quincy Crew. I do believe that their overall game plan has been fantastic, but their just little execution plays have been a bit off this tournament. That's what's been holding them back. And the thing about Spectre is she kind of just makes everything easier. You know, you have the +1 when you get the Ags for kills. You have the like a reliable ultimate that takes over and causes the chaos for the opponent team during the fight. And so I think it kind of patches up their holes, because anything that's not necessarily fixed for the team now, it's not going to be better by this game, right?
Yeah, and then you see as well, for example, with this Earthshaker, we've seen it become offlane during TI. The idea that you get tanky pretty quick, of course, you still rush the Blink Dagger, but you get that BKB, you get the Ags, and you're jumping into the back line. And traditionally, when you look at this hero, before TI, you'd argue, okay, he's going to wait for that reinitiation, you're going to always play in the fog, but now it's becoming more of a frontline hero when you get to around 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just getting into the middle of the fight. And you see Quincy Crew, they actually ban out the Tinker. And I don't think if you're Quincy right now, you would want to play potentially the game that eliminates you from TI at an Earthshaker running at you. Mortimer's Kiss is coming from the fog, and then a Tinker playing behind all that aggression, throwing out lasers and rockets. So very much Quincy just simplifying their game plan, try and see through the chaos that OG will bring in this game, and ensure that they have a very direct route of attack, right? So this Void Spirit, for example, his game right now is jump kills, Snapfire, or prevent Earthshaker initiation, right? If there's a Tinker or one of these type of mid lane as well, it gets harder for Quincy. They need to have multiple jumps and, yeah, just need to keep it simple.
Yeah, the early stages of the game in game 1 were fairly Quincy favored. I heard Insania say that he hopes that Quincy Crew sticks to the same idea of Dota that they've played in game 1. OG, yes, they won the game, but the earlier stages didn't look that smooth. So they're going to be the team to look for some changes as well. And they're going to apparently do it with the Dawnbreaker.
They've not played it at TI so far. I believe maybe Notal's played it a couple times in his pubs. Also, Topson easily.
I was going to say,
easily could be Topson. So right now, this is the 5 or the mid lane. Yeah, it's.
I want to say the win rate for this hero, I know the win rate of this hero before today started was 25%. Not great, but OG looking to go up against the odds here for that one. Medusa coming out for Quincy Crew, so they got a late game insurance policy in the books.
Yeah, it's a nice answer to the Dawn in the idea that Dawnbreaker is one of the best heroes where when you're jumping other heroes, you'll then use your ultimate to come back in, provide that additional heal. If you get the Aghanims, you'll have some evasion, more heal, etc. Like, it feels really good. But the Medusa, you just stand your ground, right? You can walk in, you're not going to really care too much about this. And OG, they have the damage, but realistically, they're not killing a Medusa with this magic damage, right? Like, they still need that kind of physical core to really punish Medusa if she's out of position.
Yeah, I treat Dawnbreaker as like the opposite of Spectre in regards to the way she uses her ultimate. Spectre usually wants her team to be initiating and her to be the follow-up, while Dawnbreaker wants the opponent to be initiating on her team in order to counter-initiate with her global presence. And the Medusa, I think, is a good response because it's just a carry that says you have to go on us. We're not necessarily concerned about going on you, and you're not like a commitment hero that when the Dawnbreaker pops ulti, that's necessarily a problem. You're pretty long range. You'll probably be on the edge of the ring anyways. And Wyvern, we've been talking about the high win rate of this hero throughout the course of the tournament.
It's been really good. You know, prolong the game long enough, but now, okay. Bane pick up, Dawn most likely mid, right? Yeah. Bane's going to be your 5, Snap's your 4, Shaker is going to be your offlane. But then again, you know, it is OG. There could still be some quirkiness here. Maybe a Sumail carrying Dawnbreaker.
Bane mid.
Yeah, Bane mid. Rushes the Media Hammer, first Media Hammer. Oh, okay, we're getting a bit carried away. That's not yeah. But if it does, we're very smart.
We did talk about the chaos factor, and one thing that for Nature's Prophet is the chaos factor is that he can be everywhere all the time. The same thing goes for Dawnbreaker, a little bit longer cooldown, but still a very global potential coming out from OG with just that one hero.
Yeah, I feel like Quincy are looking at OG's style of play, and they're picking these heroes that allow them to hold their own. You know, like Quinn on his Void Spirit, he's going to be able to find these heroes by themselves. If he sees a Snap or a Bane, he's going to kill them throughout the entire game. But the idea that Medusa will play in the tri-camp area, the bottom side of the map, or top side because you're Radiant, farm the Ancients, and Wyvern can protect as well. Like, they're not really playing into cooldowns. They will always be able to counterplay, right?
I just remembered.
What did you remember?
We saw the rapid fire questions that Dakota did with OG earlier, and one of the questions was, what's the last hero you played? And Seb said, oh, I played a pub. I played Snapfire.
True.
It's possible.
Is there a potential? We know we've seen Snapfire in the mid lane in the past. This tournament, it's been pretty much only position 4. But what is the potential of flexing that Snapfire in this draft?
The thing is, she's really tanky because she's a strength hero and has a pretty high strength game, but all of her abilities, other than once she gets the shard for her scatter blast, she doesn't want you right on top of her, and she's against Void Spirit, Monkey King, 2 heroes that can reliably be right in your face, so I'm guessing it's going to be a support since she'll have to be positioned very far back. The thing about Snapfire that's so odd, it's like this weird dichotomy, is 2 of your abilities rely on you being like point blank range, and then Lil Shredder gives you extra range, and your Mortimer's Kisses are like half the screen range, so she's very weird like that.
Timbersaur's not banned, right?
Correct.
For Quincy. Like, this is the type of hero that when you see, 3 strength heroes and a Bane, you can kind of annoy early along in the game so that Medusa will find the Skadi, the Manta, enough items to be able to deal with OG. So I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they go that route, but...
Nature's Prophet.
Sure, bring
Against
out...
Bane.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? Like, the idea... The reason why Furion is kind of getting better again at TI is because of these 5 positions, the Disruptors, the Banes, even Wyvern, like, they're not that great at pulling them out of lane. But okay, they go for the Mars.
They go team fight route.
Yeah, 100%. Get some team fight and instant pick.
No
with
hesitation for the TA. That's going to be a Sumail TA, I would imagine. Now, we will have the Thompson Dawnbreaker, by the way, so that will be an exciting one. Before this series started, at the first draft of the first game, I asked which players were going to be set up for success, and it's only fitting that both of these players get the last pick for their team, Sumail and Leslau. Which player has been set up for more success, though, for this the game too?
Sumail TA.
I'd argue Sumail. After that first game on the Luna, where he's not really, being shouted about in the cast, it's like, oh, Thompson, Sumail, not there. So now he's on a TA, he's going to get a bit more screen time maybe, and yeah, everyone's going to be pushing him into the fight for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this game too. I am definitely hoping for a third game, but of course, OG will try to put a stop to that and make this one a clean one. Let's find out what their coach has to say, Misha, at the end of this draft. It's Lex.
Thank you so much. We are pleasured to see a drafting ban here for OG. My goodness, everyone wants to know how you guys think. So I'll ask you some very broad questions so you don't have to reveal anything. Is that all right?
Yep, it's cool.
Fantastic. Dawnbreaker, not the most successful hero in this tournament, yet you guys decided to pick that one up. Can you share why?
Topius is crazy on it.
I see. We're going to be in for a treat then, huh?
Yep.
All right, well, that's all we're going to get then. Let's see this game and see if she really is as crazy as we claim. The game is beginning.
Thompson is crazy on it. Mid Dawnbreaker, but I think the panel and we both think that battle of the brothers is what we're going to be aiming towards, right? The fast farming carries, Medusa against Templar Assassin, able to pay at such pace.
Yeah, I'm really, focused on this Dawnbreaker on a mid lane. We saw during the group stage, Virtus.pro playing this hero 3 times as a carry. It was relatively successful, but they stopped doing it. So I want to see what this hero can do from the mid lane. Like, your main item needs to be Echo Saber because the item is too good. I want to see how far Thompson can go, because anything that can dive in, anything that can juke, Thompson can play it.
Anything that can be anywhere on the map with your team, right? And it's a trend we've been seeing throughout this TI. In the group stages now, on the main event, heroes like Nature's Prophet, like this Dawnbreaker, the ability to traverse the map globally. Sumail goes for the meld, No Tail and LOA. Both get those initial Observer Ward bounties though, as it looks like Yawar's Medusa has just been pummeled under that fissure.
Yeah, good start for OG. Sumail starting with meld. Not the greatest thing you want to have for the laning stage, but they got the kill out of it, because your range is pretty bad. Like, you don't have the side blades, no refraction means a bit less damage. Still, they got the kill. They got the first blood on Saxo.
A great start for them. No Tail even going deep into that Radiant Triangle, as OG potentially getting 4 bounty runes to kick off game 2 here. Saxa's going to find it, isn't he? Across we go with a Snapfire. And all that money into the pockets of OG. That's going to speed up your bottle for Thompson. Give him a grand old time in the mid lane against Quinn's Void Spirit.
All right, now they're keeping 3 heroes on the top. Wyvern with the Arctic Burn, they could potentially try to make a play and get the first, second blood, first blood, whatever.
Second first blood. And Sumail, you're right. He is being right-clicked down, but they're unable to finish him off. Instead, turning and facing against No Tail.
No Tail using Nightmare level 1, not something you want to have. So this top lane is these 2 spells, Nightmare and Meld, not something you want to have level 1, but MSS putting a lot of pressure on Bane. Bane usually one of the heroes that can trade really well against whoever, maybe not against Nature's Prophet, but the rest of the heroes he does pretty well. This time around it's going to be much tougher for him.
Absolutely is. Tri-laning around there, Dusa. But you can feel it. Looking at the way that OG are playing across the board. That mid lane, the bottom lane, and looking here into the top lane. They are still trying to keep the aggression going.
The big camp is blocked, so there's not going to be any pulls on the top lane. Nicely done by OG.
And Seb with Saxa, knowing that Laszlo is left alone down here, playing in behind the tower. 8-1 Earthshaker and a 2-0 Mars. Not feeling too happy, but does have that large camp blocked, like you mentioned, on both sides of the map. So Saxa will come in and reopen the neutrals.
There's still no center wards on both supports of Quincy.
They're bringing
so that
one on the
means,
courier.
yeah, they're coming, but this means that it's not going to be available for the next minute. And next time around it happens, No Tail can body block. We see Saxa setting things up.
Yeah,
with
No
the
Tail and
cookie.
Saxa with a Nightmare Cookie. Minus armor galore. MSS is down. The little shredder and that meld attack make short work of the Monkey King. Now OG match the tri-lane with one of their own. As Thompson. Okay, just a bit of chip damage there onto Quinn.
It was only a matter of time until Saxa shows up on the top lane. He got his level 2 supports of Quincy. Unfortunately, Monkey not level 2 yet. LOA. Keeping a tri-lane with Wyvern and Medusa.
Yeah.
Stealing a lot of XP from Medusa, which means that she can't fall back to the jungle early on. Like, this might be a bit of a tricky tri-lane that Quincy Kuru is trying to pull off.
Yeah, I was going to ask what your thoughts were, because looking at the CS, Medusa, okay, you know, 12 and 6, they are shutting down the TA a significant amount, but it doesn't feel like it's enough with this kind of aggressive tri-lane. And then I noticed Thompson is 27-1. He's having a bonkers time in that mid lane, and Quinn being forced to try and dodge the Starbreaker. Oh, yeah.
That's why they picked it, Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Dawnbreaker completely shutting down this Void Spirit.
Destroying him in this early laning stage. 15-1 for Quinn. And now you're looking at the top lane. Arctic Burn on cooldown. Yawar with not too much mana to work with. 2 supports up in their face, forcing them to sit at their tier 1. So it looks like MSS has given up on the top lane. Swings down to bottom to try and relieve some of the pressure off of that Mars at the very least.
Yawar can farm. He can get close. No Tail could set things up with another Nightmare.
Yawar, he's pinged out. No Tail's not going for it, and a good dissimilate allows Quinn to disengage from OG. How's that bottom lane going now? Because we've seen this Mars have a really bad early game because he was alone completely, but he's caught up, hasn't he?
Yeah, both of these heroes are gonna farm this time around. Something that Seb has really been good at is playing versus one-on-one, and also his itemization. I think this is his strongest part, like understanding what needs to be done in a certain situation, getting a boost of speed, getting a belt of strength, going for that earlier power treads. Also has a Ring of Hell queued up, something that has been like really popular. Seb
might not have expected MSS to still be lurking around down here, and he definitely wasn't expecting Yawar to arrive, but Seb with the stuns holds them back for a sec. Oh, he's dipping into the trees, but he can't juke away. Laszlo and MSS clear through the Earthshaker, and that allows them to swap their lanes again.
they were getting nothing done on the top lane, so no surprise Medusa decided to go to the bottom. Now Mars level 5.5. They're gonna need to play around Mars, who's very high level, doesn't have much mana to work with, needs to bring the courier.
And that mid lane, tons of stuns. Sumail moves forward onto Leslau. No tail. Front lining for his TA, making sure that the Arctic Burn is primarily doing damage to him and not onto Sumail. Monkey King. Cool.
2 jumps.
He got the cookie stun.
Monkey can jump higher.
He can. Got a trampoline. Leslau. Nightmare traded back onto the TA there. A little bit of misplay from OG. So the Mars will be just all right. Especially with the backup of that Winter Wyvern.
Solar Guardian is available on Dawnbreaker, so you gotta be very careful rune spawning. Quinn gonna be picking up that double damage. That's a big one. If anyone decides to step up a bit and move closer to the towers, Seb.
Well, let's step up on Seb. There it is, the Solar Guardian coming in. Aim onto MSS with a good cookie. And a great turnaround from OG. You called for it. Thompson's movement. That global potential from the Dawnbreaker just appearing out of the woodwork.
It's very hard. It's like playing against Nature's Prophet when he was popular hero. On a mid lane, you know that there's going to be a ton of damage coming out, or Zeus, any kind of a global presence. So you need to be careful a bit whenever it's up.
Sumail speared back. Great move by Leslau. And MSX, he's arrived here. Monkey King.
There's the arena.
Helped out by the arena. Will secure the Templar Assassin here. Chip away little by little and find that carry kill they need.
Sumail, before dying, hiding inside the melt, inside the shadows, outside of the tower range, so they need to use at least that. Spend some gold on the supports, but valuable kill for Quincy.
Tons of stacks being built up, though, on both sides. Dire, Radiant Triangle full up. Dire top jungle, plenty there for
Medusa.
them. But Yawar,
good block.
Nothing left to give here for Saxa and Seb. But Yawar, with no regen, having a pretty rough time. And 40 seconds on that cooldown of Solar Guardian, so Thompson couldn't join in either.
Thompson's completely popping off on Dawnbreaker. 72 CS compared to Quinn's 53.
A massive net worth difference between him and the Void Spirit too. 800. As Quinn with a DD rune. Oh, he's found Sumail and MSS. He's been setting up these kills wonderfully. Might even go in here for no tail. Leslau, he's arrived. God's Rebuke and the spear. The Bane did get a Nightmare down on the Monkey King, but with the body blocks arriving, yeah. Oh, he's got 3 stick charges, but he can't withstand this. Quincy crew, yet again, bring the numbers to the fight.
With Sumail already gone, Sumail will need to recover. They need to start making some stacks bottom lane. Saxa and Seb getting another one.
Finding LOA. And that's down to, like we saw earlier, Yawar's Medusa was brought low, had to go back to jungle, had to regen up. And now, being scouted by Saxa, but under a Radiant Observer Ward. Yawar not too bothered about that, but Quinn might look for a cheeky solo kill. Saxa's pinging it out. Seb's behind him. But they don't know that Quinn's invis, do they? They've got no clue that Void Spirit is lurking right above their heads. Good jump in, and he might even go for Seb. LOA's come in from the right-hand side. The pincer movement from Quincy crew, collapsing onto OG.
Yeah, Quinn controlling the runes 2 times in a row. First picking up the double damage. Then again, Invis scouting things out for any potential gank, keeping Yawar alive and also allowing him to get a kill. So that's very nice. Sumail needs to recover. He needs to be in the jungle. Top lane's almost unplayable. Mars.
They're on the Mars.
He's bringing the numbers.
Thompson arrives. Leslau doesn't stand a chance. But what can they do off the back of this? Because with a Prophet, you were mentioning they can, you know, convert it into a tower, make a bit of a push happen. Thompson's just going to sit here and farm.
A bit limited on tower damage early on. Luminosity maxed out. Same goes for Celestial Hammer, getting very close to Echo Saber.
Very close indeed. 200 gold away, and they will do a little bit of damage here to the tier 1, but very unlikely to lead to its downfall. 10 minutes. Rune's about to spawn. And No Tail will gladly take the regen rune while dissimulating away. Quinn turns back to play with Saxa. MSS, Boundless Strike, and the Primal Spring back in onto No Tail. They'll pick off both OG support, and Thompson's been left stranded in the river.
Trap, he's pinging the trap. Needs
He's
to
in
slow
a
them
lot
down.
of trouble. Oh, the turn! Oh, he tries, but he's 1v5.
He needed some kind of assistance. Unfortunately for them, Seb did not have TP ready, but very aggressive, very nice move from Quincy Crew, getting some advantage early on. Now 4 heroes on a mid lane.
And they push that tier 1 pretty quickly. Saxa with the kisses. Lobbing lava onto LOA's Wyvern, melting and thawing.
Saxa single-handedly, I'm gonna say defending the tower because the tower has fallen, but in the end getting a kill and getting some juicy XP also allows him to get level 6, level 7 from that. Bane needs a bit more experience for Fiend's Grip.
And space for TA, right? She cleared triangle, cleared stacks. She's second in net worth, just a touch behind that Dawnbreaker. As Quinn and MSS pairing up once more. This duo is all across the map. And Seb, he does Echo Slam back. Oh, that mischief attempt. He tried to go for it, but Seb's there with a slam.
Dissimulate.
The Solar Guardian.
He's
Quinn is being baited in. They get him. Seb comes out with a double kill thanks to Thompson.
Perfectly baited there by Seb. He understands how tanky he is. They almost bring him down. Enchant Totem, level 3, ton of damage.
And Leslie misses spear. Saxa, he's isolated. Should be easy pickings here for Quincy Crew. But after losing that bottom lane fight, they need so much more. No Tail will be a sacrificial offering from OG. Because Thompson clears through that bottom tier 1 in the meanwhile.
Simultaneously happening multiple fights.
It's a long word for you, Lacoste.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, I was focused really hard, and now you interrupted me, Gary, and now I feel bad. Thompson, I see what he has queued up after the Echo Saber. We're gonna see that again. Seb, Monkey King tried to dodge, managed to do so, but the damage from Enchant Totem, he cannot later. And Quinn, Seb also high-fiving.
Man, not respecting the Solar Guardian. Back up to top. Seb's in and once more. The Fisher connecting on 2 of them as it looks like they will pick off their Shaker at long last.
OG,
what do you want to do?
Here's
Celestial Hammer in on the Deucer. That's a lot of damage, but Thompson doesn't get the killing blow. Great Winter's Curse holding back OG. Quinn wants in onto the support, and No Tail will be his prey. They've stunned Thompson for a sec. He wants LOA. Cold Embrace will but delay the inevitable.
Sumail with the side blades, getting the kill. Now they can start thinking about pressuring this tower. It's half HP.
And these combos have been so good from OG. The cookies into the Fishers and Chance, and a Starbreaker out of Thompson. They pressure the tower, but Quincy Crew are all respawning reasonably soon. But it doesn't look like they want to be up in this top part of the map.
Yawar has been very active on his Medusa, involved in 10 out of 13 kills.
Is that a good thing?
Pretty... Huh?
Is that a good thing?
I think so. I mean, it could have been in a triangle, but triangle has been invaded by OG members, so he needs to find another spot right now, focusing a bit more on the farm.
Oh.
OG, ooh.
Ooh. He's up there, but Seb, who's he found? It's Leslau. Again, the Cold Embrace will just slow things down for OG by a couple of seconds. They get the kill regardless.
He didn't even use the Echo Slam. Fiend's Grip was committed. Medusa, Yawar had a very good read what's going to happen, so he bailed. Top lane.
Finally.
Dropping. Sumail gets the last hit.
Seb, oh man, he was close there to getting 2 of them. Always blocked Quinn in, forcing the additional Astral Step. Quincy Crew, it really does feel like they're on the back foot now. OG are laying it on thick, putting on the pressure everywhere they go. But it has been a good couple of minutes for Yawar. Bottom lane, farming away. All that bottom jungle cleared. Oh, but Quincy is scouted here. Dire Vision sees LOA, launching the lava
Curse
back
is
onto
available.
the Wyvern again. But a good curse, you're right, Lacoste. While Seb, he's in a 1v3. He fishes them back. And an LOA for Seb trade, but oh, where did he go?
He just disappeared, Gary.
No, it was gone. They're in the arena now, and Sumail with a DD rune is clearing them up. Quinn, he's on a TA, jumps over Thompson. They've got a good Wukong's command going as well. Sumail with refraction back in 3 seconds. That spear's good, but Quincy can't capitalize.
They had no follow-up. That was a great Winter's Curse to set things up. Bane needs to stay outside because the Nightmare level 4 outranges the curse, so then you can save people with it, but he got caught inside of it.
That Medusa just dissipated.
It's too much damage. After a horrible laning stage, Sumail managed to recover Dragonlance and this already, so they're not gonna be playing around the top part of the map. They will be lurking. If they get a pick-off or two, there's still this Roche potential.
Yeah, the gap between the cores noticeable with a 3k lead for OG. TA and Dawnbreaker right up at the top. Good spear back. Laszlo fans no tail, but
Solar
again
Guardian.
they're on the prime target. The big one is yours, Medusa. Celestial Hammer and that Starbreaker make short work of her, while Quinn does find a pick. But Quincy Crew are going to lose so much more. The neutral creep will claim the life of Wyvern. But the thing that matters most is OG moving forward, striking onto Quincy Crew.
They don't rely on any cooldowns. Yeah, having Solar Guardian is nice, having Fiend's Grip is okay, even Echo Slam, but even without that, OG's heroes will take the fight.
And now a freebie Roshan for them, for a TA in particular.
Yeah, you give it to TA for sure. Sumail, that's not a mid TA, so you want to give it to him this time around. Dawnbreaker, full Heaven's Halberd finished. It's a 5-second duration disable on Medusa.
That's very true. MSS with Quinn. They are in onto Sumail, but that refraction allows her to withstand the early punishment.
Sleep.
And Sebi moves forward.
Keeping him
Sleep
alive.
and a save. The kisses come out. There's a winner's curse. Holding
Only 2
OG
supports
back,
getting him.
but Sumail is still fighting. Oh, Quinn and Laszlo will take him down. But they trade that Aegis for LOA's life. Is it worth it? Can they get out? They're trying to retreat. Laszlo, he's in a little piggy mode. Thompson and Seb, they'll find him again. Good Fisher and stun. Gold Tribute back, but the Nightmare will hold him in place.
They needed to get something extra out of that. Quincy Crew killing Aegis almost instantly from TA, and now Tier 1 tower, so the map is gonna shrink for Quincy Crew. 6k gold lead, 17 minutes in.
It's a mountain that they've got to climb now. Oh, look at that experience difference as well here.
Oh, that's big.
6 levels different, 16%. Grove Bow, not too bad there. Neutral items dropping out. Starting to become a worry though for Quincy Crew in terms of how they start fights. What is their form of initiation? Because their entire draft so far has been built up to have a Medusa front line, move towards objectives, have 3-4 heroes sit behind her and defend her. Saxa with a backup of the Dawnbreaker. Okay, MSS not really able to play down here. Medusa's Stone Gaze not really doing an awful lot.
Medusa's not a man.
Straight in onto Yoar. Okay.
Start to
One
chase.
hit and destroyed.
I don't think they can get more out of this. Blink Dagger in 5 seconds. Quinn. Oh, he has no Astral Steps. Seb thinking about it.
Seb wants it so badly. Cool. If Quinn showed on that wave, he might have been dead. He might be dead still. The Fisher in
There's
the
the
grip.
grip.
They're going to find Quinn's Void Spirit. The Arena Spear slows out No Tail. Quinn can step on top of the bait. Face off against Seb, but Sumail's arrival will really look like disaster for Quincy Crew. The cold embrace and that bulwark from Laszlo. It is tanking through the damage of Sumail.
Thompson's too tanky. They don't have anything to deal with this. Winter's Curse available.
They spent the
Sumail gonna
Wukong,
keep hitting him.
but you're right, the TA's on the Earthshaker. Thompson has claimed the life of LOA. But that's now Wukong's down, Winter's Curse down, Arena down, and your Medusa is still not really finding the space to farm.
Medusa's just not ready to take the fight. She joined one, used the Stone Gaze, but I feel like he's been very active early on, but needs to find some space. Needs to farm like 2-3 minutes to be able to farm up that Scotty.
Time.
Buy time, Gary.
buy time. Shopkeeper, please, I beg of you, just give us another 10 minutes. But OG, looking at that clock, not allowing Quincy Crew to run it down. Quinn with Kaya Sanj heading into Aghanim Scepter, of course. Not looking too shabby. And he has found some nice openings on the backlines, like we saw from Thompson in game 1, getting onto the supports, removing some of that
didn't
team
talk
fight
too
control.
much about Quinn, but he had a really good game, caught only once. They have a limited amount of stuns, I would say. He can easily dodge those, except the one from the Earthshaker. Having Kaya-san is going to help out quite a lot against the Earthshaker. Combination of the stuns, the chain stuns, and now going into Ag. Still far away from it, but once he gets that, it's going to be very easy to control the Bane in the backlines.
So much global potential here from OG. Dawnbreaker, Templar Assassin, Earthshaker with Blink initiations. As Leslau cuts back behind that wave, glyphing the tower as well. Catapult will die, so OG don't have a great opportunity. Or maybe they do. Or maybe they can just kill the tower without creeps. Who cares creeps when we have so much minus armor, the tower crumbles.
This is a tier 2, 20 minutes in. They can take the outpost. They also have another wave of global presence. Templar Assassin finishing off Aghanim Scepter on top of Solar Guardian.
Astral projection, jumping from realm to realm, like Monkey does from tree to tree.
I did not want to say astral projection. You would call me out once again, Gary. A lot of fancy and long words.
If you read the tooltip, it's fine. There it is. Solar Guardian onto Dusa. Thompson whacking away, burning through Yuar's mana. Now Sumail's in with the minus armor, and Yuar's but a hit away from death. They can't finish it off. Kisses are too far away as No Tail.
He finishes him off. Saxa snipes him.
How's he found that?
That was
beautiful
max
shot.
Range. Thompson, once he goes in, there is no counterplay. He's not afraid. Having the status resistance, having the evasion.
Okay, Saxa. Very fast on the fingers, blinks away from danger. MSS on the low ground, tries the balance strike, but he hits the ground with a thud. No Tail, the only casualty there for OG. While Quincy Crew, that Medusa dying just feels so bad for them. Every death, every second without the Medusa on the map farming
Map
puts you
just
further and further
smaller
behind.
And smaller traps to be able to TP to them. Observer boards, deep observer boards placed. Quincy Crew, they cannot play the bottom part of the map.
Yeah, OG are everywhere and nowhere. Hiding in the shadows, lurking and looking for their moment. And this requires drastic action from Quincy.
Smoked, trying to find something. All they're gonna find is No Tail. He's gonna be pretty happy about it.
A kill on No Tail. Still a kill if it happens. Good nightmare swap by LOA to make sure Quinn can finish the job.
That was close. If he got another brain sap off, it would just prolong it, but bottom lane, MSS. Scouting things out.
Make
See Thompson drawing on a minimap where they want to go. Double damage, bottle up once again. 1 CS away from that level 20 talent.
And is
-1 luminosity attacks required. That's what he's going to go for. Yeah, and full AC items just keep multiplying.
They're coming out of nowhere. Bottom lane, Saxa silenced up. So Monkey King finally getting his job done while Sumail hiding on a trap. Not going to get scouted by MSS, and a good hit to Skurs. It's there onto 7 Thompson. Yoa with a Stone Gaze and the Wukong's command to back them up. This is the fight Quincy needs. Spear on Thompson, but the nightmare save. They sleep him up. The double circles, the Venn diagram and death. Quincy Crew fighting to the bitter end, but Thompson is so strong.
Manages to blink out.
Another spear, another dissimulate. No Tail nearly dead, but Thompson and Sumail continue fighting.
He's still not done.
Medusa's pretty much out of mana right now, and MSS is nearly found by Sumail. A god tribute back. Thompson, he wants a kill. Give it to me.
Oh man, this double damage, it was a perfectly set curse to try to reset a bit, but the damage output from Sumail and Thompson is a bit too much.
6,000 damage coming out of Thompson.
This AC reducing the armor while Sumail from the background.
He denied it.
Melt and Deso. Big W. That deny. You know, you need any kind of psychological help you can get.
The combo. They chain disable LOA.
He's godlike. -1 set of barracks. They're still tier 2 tower on a mid lane.
And you don't even have Seb here with you. He's up top.
Yeah, they felt so confident. Seb was showing on the top lane. He knows that they cannot chase. Medusa,
Wandering around.
she just does not have a damage item. But Quinn getting the jump.
And he gets Fishered back. Seb, does he have backup coming? No, it's Laszlo that's going to try and help out Quinn, who nearly dies solo to Earthshaker. But even with a Dawnbreaker coming, Quinn, dodging the hammer. Off to the left-hand side and in the trees, but they know exactly where he is.
Good Astral Slap from Quinn. It just came off cooldown. If that Soul Guardian... Oh, he
Astral
found it.
Step countered by Astral Projection. Kisses coming.
Saxa from downtown, providing vision for his team. Max range once again, Mortimer's Kisses.
And Sumail putting this net worth to use. 17,000 up. Looking for tier 2s again. Cruising through this top lane. And OG moving towards a game 2 victory.
Getting the sleep on a mid lane, pinging it out.
The cavalry's arrived. The Fiend's Grip required from No-Tail. Yawa will try his hardest, but can't save Laszlo. They get Saxa though. No-Tail, Scardy's slow.
Good kills from Quincy. Even though it's just the supports, Yawar gets 1 kill. He needs cheap damage. He needs something, anything at this point, because right now it's not enough. Getting the Crystallis might do the trick. I see BKB queued up next. I feel like they need damage. BKB in this situation, yes, you're playing against Bane, you're playing against the Earthshaker, Dawnbreaker. I guess he also wants to be able to deal damage. Heaven's Halberd causing a lot of issues, but I don't think that's the item that he can afford to go for. Second Roshan, that means Aegis and Shard. Let's see who decides to pick it up, whether it's going to be Sumail or Thompson.
Looks like Sumail.
They're going to give it to Sumail.
The silence on the traps.
Yeah, because even when you use Psionic Projection, the traps activates, silences. Double
so good against the Void
TP
Spirit.
on the outpost.
Against the Wyvern.
No tail, no Observer Ward, so can't see Monkey, just a casual sentry.
And Monkey saw the sentry placed. Now the Observer's cleared up. Sumail making his way forward. OG not really fully together just yet. Still with Thompson and Seb up in that top third of the map. They'll collapse and connecting onto mid. Spear back in. That's the Aegis TA though, and they've not even killed her once. Thompson, he pops the illusion rune, and he's safe and sound. Quincy Crew didn't expend too much for that though, just showing that one spear play could be enough.
Deep be back to base by Templar Assassin. We'll come back to one of the traps. Full HP, full mana.
They've always got to contend with that bottom lane though, and you can see the lines being drawn as Seb jumps in.
The jump.
Wyvern dead. A 5v4 now, and OG holding Aegis means they can continue their aggression in the Radiant base.
Seb, long duration, a long Fisher from that Ether Lens, and also has Shard. That got nerfed, but still.
They've caught Yawa.
Still a decent one.
Yeah, Laszlo is in with his BKB, throws the arena down, but this is disjointed from Quincy. Saxa, Sumail and Thompson stand their ground. They'll be slowed down, but the echo! Seb gets the two of them. Thompson, he wants Yawa so bad. And they'll find him with that Fisher.
Thompson still going. Even inside the Wukongs, doesn't care too much about it. Celestial Hammer gets the kill.
Beyond godlike Thompson, nightmaring up the Void Spirit now. Chain stuns galore. Finally a Winter's Curse onto this Dawnbreaker, and they'll clear her up. Quinn is back in.
That's a deal with Aegis. They need to get more.
They need Sumail's Aegis. They need to kill her twice. Quincy Crew losing their mid laner Barons.
Remnant.
Saxa, can he help Sumail? The buyback and the Solar Guardian comes in. MSS in a lot of trouble. Laszlo trying to defend his Monkey King, and Quinn blowing up the Snapfire.
The power of the global presence. They got what they came for. They got the second set of barracks, even though it cost them quite a lot. 2 buybacks.
Triple buyback.
One from Saksa, one from Thompson, and Quinn. He got a lot of kills. They need to be very careful about the Winter Scourge, because this is how one of the cores is gonna die.
That's a big swing.
Still haven't seen the sleep, because most of the time Bane is trying to set things up. Also, one ability that's causing a lot of problems for OG is the Cold Embrace. They don't have that strong spell damage. They don't have any damage that they can throw. Mortimer's Kisses is nice. Celestial Hammer is also decent, but it's not enough at this stage of the game to kill anyone.
Do or die for Quincy Crew. It's 31-31, but the kill score is but one small part of the story. OG ahead by 17k and 2 racks up. They're smoked, and Quinn will be spotted. Sees Thompson, makes eye contact, and decides to run away.
Void Spirits, throughout the tournament, decided that Shard is a very good pickup. Adds another ring to the Simulate, an extra 200 damage.
Super good. They hold back Sumail. OG needs someone to shove in that top lane so they can continue pressing forward. Hold Quincy Crew in their base, limit their farm, and make sure that Medusa's kept shut down. Right now, Quincy under lock and key.
Dobson's gonna hit another big timing. Satanic, and also picking up a Shard, plus level 25. Dawnbreaker gains magic immunity during Starbreaker, and at 25, 2 charges, so 2 free BKBs.
It'd be faster to say what she doesn't have. Thompson's got everything.
Pretty much.
A better calm from OG now, though, knowing that the nerves, the pressure that Quincy Crew must be facing right now are substantial. Waiting in the base, hoping for an OG mistake. But
another
a double
DD for Thompson.
Damage rune for
I
Thompson.
stopped counting after the 5th one.
What a monster. And this is oppressive gameplay from OG. Oppressive gamers. Can't
Is
farm
that
bot.
what OG stands for?
Absolutely is. Can't farm mid, can't farm top. Medusa sat in fountain, twiddling her thumbs and wondering, what am I meant to do? I've got a BKB, I've got a Skadi and a Manta, but buyback-wise, not looking too hot. No, 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 and no. Oh, no, that's a yes. Sorry.
Okay, 1 yes is fine.
And it is a Winter Wyvern.
20k gold lead for OG. Smoke from Quincy. Let's see what they can do with it. Drawing on a minimap, so they know where they're gonna go.
But look at OG.
OG already on the high ground.
Blinking away from the bounty runes. And again, it's one of the moves that Quincy Crew has to make the most of. And is do everything here, but Saksa dancing away, nightmared up. The spear misses, but still dead. Can Quinn hunt for more? It looks like MSS is going to leap backwards. Look for the vision that OG have placed.
OG does not need to rush anything. They can wait. 40 seconds without Saksa. Bottom lane is pushing in. Mid lane's gonna push in. And also Roche. This is the 3rd one. Might respawn in a minute and a half. Medusa still at this point doesn't deal that much damage that you need to be afraid of. She needs another big item.
Is Daedalus going to be enough? Is Rapier an option in this kind of game?
I think you just go for Crystallis at this point. You're too far
Oh,
away
the
from
chain
it. Solar
stuns are
Guardian.
coming! Quinn dead, the Winter's Curse from LOA.
There's the
this
speed
isn't a
save,
fight that
finally.
you can take. LOA and MSS, they'll catch the Winter Wyvern as OG pummel Quinn into the ground with that beautiful play from Seb. Good little bit of lane cutting though from MSS. Spring and strike. And a double damage rune did get expended by Thompson. He'll find a haste rune to refill his bottle now as TA picks up the 8 refraction instances talent.
That's a big one. They don't have the overtime damage, so this is going to be very easy for Sumail to jump out with the Hurricane Pike. There is also a Nightmare
Fisher.
save, Aftershock.
And the Aftershock Tops and Saxa weren't quite close enough to cookie up the high ground, though. They'll still get onto that high ground. The minus armor here.
20
from
seconds
OG.
without a Quinn might be too much.
Tier 3.
This is very hard decision. Do I buy back or not? They might get mega creeps from this. 13.
Yeah, 10 seconds to go. And Leslau makes the move. You're right, he buys back. But Thompson, he's man to commute, and so Sumail. Down goes Leslau, forced to buy back along with Quinn, but OG hold the line.
2 buybacks. They can reset. Thompson just needs to get himself back to full HP. With 1 Starbreaker charge, that's gonna be it. They have Trap inside the Roche, which will respawn in 2.5 minutes. That's a long one.
They see everything.
It's gonna be a
Smoke
Fisher
time.
from downtown. Fisher, level 20 talent, plus Octarine core on top of the Shard. He can just stand further behind and play from the fog.
And they've got so much follow through. Whoever gets caught by that is dead to rights. Melee barracks dropping lower and lower. But Quinn is there to clear through the wave and the catapults. And OG in no rush. 36 minutes in, they are very, very calm. Just knowing that Quincy Crew are the ones on the back foot.
Quincy Crew, they don't know when the Roche spawns. We know, we see everything.
They need some kind of momentum swing here. They need a fight around Roshan Pit. They need to get out of their base.
Creeps
but
are gonna kill the melee barracks.
Take down your, yeah, that's huge. And LOA, sneaky observer ward.
They still have Observer and the Sentry, plus a trap inside Quincy's base.
The jump in. They look for Seb, but the Dawnbreaker's arriving and a nightmare save again. No tail keeps him alive. The Winter's Curse connects on the TA, so Dawnbreaker will hammer away. Yao are in trouble though. Enchant Totem and Blink Echo. Not enough to finish one off. As Seb, he deals with that monkey on the back while Thompson, he's battering into Yawar. Sumail gets the kill.
That might be it, Gary. I don't think Quincy Crew has any fuel left. No buyback on Quinn. Yawar using the buyback. Same goes for Seb.
But no buyback.
It's time to go in. It's time to finish this game. Get the mega creeps.
The 2 cores are down. What can the remaining 3 do? Mega creeps are coming.
3 versus 5.
Such a difficult spot for Quincy Crew to be in. Templar Assassin doesn't even get tickled by the Medusa and Monkey King. And Quincy Crew, I've got to know, they're on their last legs now. Tier 4s are falling. Your buildings, the foundations are being rocked and shaked by Seb. They do have the wide buyback.
No curse.
But now your throne is open. And OG are knocking on your doors. The dream, oh,
GG,
look at
good
that.
luck, little bro.
Beautiful from Yoa. And the dream of the three-peat is still alive.
It's still alive as for OG. Great performance. They managed to make a comeback in game number 1. In game number 2, Thompson on the Dawnbreaker once again, showing what he's made of. Like, what a performance by him.
Unstoppable. Like that coach was saying, Topias is crazy on that Dawnbreaker, and he showed it right here. What was his score at the end? 11, 2, and 19. Spot on stuff from OG.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this tournament, we had speculation whether this hero is going to be a support, an offlaner, a core. Virtus.pro showed position 1 Dawnbreaker, and yeah, this time around, Thompson on the mid lane came. Man, he came online so quickly. This might be something to think about whenever one of the melee spirits is picked, because this looked like a complete domination from the Dawnbreaker. It's also a Thompson effect.
It really is. I mean, he's just all over the map, everywhere he wanted to be. But with that, OG 2-0 victory, moving on in the lower bracket. We'll hand it back to the panel for now, though.
Like they said, the three-peat dream is still alive for OG as they move on in the lower bracket. Unfortunately, Quincy Crew has been eliminated and they will finish in 9th to 12th place, taking home a cool $800,000. For a team that doesn't have a main sponsor, that is still a huge deal, gentlemen. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think right now you're probably just thinking about the loss. You don't probably not thinking so much about the money. Of course, it's going to mean a lot, I think, in the coming weeks. Like, once it settles in, then you realize, you know, that's still a big chunk of money that we made here. But right now, I think it's pretty sad for Quincy Crew.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to mention, like, the ending there as well, like the good luck for their little bro, like it really got a tug on your heartstrings. You mentioned that, like, you know, they're not thinking about it a ton at the beginning of the match and throughout the match, but at the end there's no way that you can't think about it. And we've talked so much about, like, family earlier and them talking with it, and you know, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time you can see that there's that love there, and he really does wish him the best going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that Cap told us is that they consider each other's best friends, you know, so that brotherly love is still there. And even though one team has to go home, one brother has to go home, the love still lives, right? And OG is still in the tournament. They're going to move on and continue to battle through the lower bracket. And that's still very nerve-wracking for them, right? This must be like a great momentum builder for them as well, because Quincy Crew, you know, they had a lot of NA fans cheering for them, but at the same time, you know, OG is OG, and they're proving very clearly how much they deserve to be here. But tell me just a little bit about, before we get into our interview, tell me a little bit about how the momentum of that game swung in the direction of OG. It started off with Quincy Crew again, and then swung the way of OG gods.
I think it was a bit of a continuation from game one, where even though Quincy had some good moments this game, it still felt like they were never really in it, particularly because of how poorly that mid lane went for Quinn. It felt like they were always in recovery mode. I love that they played their hearts out. They were always trying to make these aggressive moves around the map. It's like they went down fighting, but it was just an uphill battle.
Well, we will see what they think as we go to an interview with LOA and Avo.
LOA, thank you for your time. Of course. So, usually I actually do this to the camera, but I want to tell you this because Quincy Crew, and you actually and Quincy Crew to the Dota community, you represent something special. You represent perseverance and determination. The courage to forge your own path is something that I think any Dota player can relate to. And I feel like I can't ask you any questions because it's only fair that you get to have your exit interview your own way. So I'm going to yield the floor to you, and you can say whatever you want.
Sure. I think me and my team had a very long journey here. It's been a lot of years, a lot of struggle. I believe in every one of the guys on my team. I wouldn't have changed anything we did. I think the cards just didn't play out for us. It's rough. This squad has played OG 3 times and been eliminated knocked down by OG 3 times. They're a tough team for us. But at the end of the day, I feel like we went in there and we played as a team. We lost as a team, but that's all I can ask. I feel my team played their hearts out. I did what I feel is all I could to put us in the best position, and I don't have any regrets. Dota's a difficult game. This tournament's a very difficult tournament for a lot of teams. The last year and a half's been very difficult for a lot of people. So I'm honestly just grateful that we got a chance to come here and compete, and we're all healthy, and I wish all the other teams the best of luck. I think there's very good teams and players out there, and they deserve to be able to play their hearts out.
Wise words from one of the most inspiring teams this international. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Avo and LOA. What a great message, right? Like, even though they lost, they still stuck together as a team, and they really did play their hearts out, and that's really all they can ask for.
Yeah, to me, the story of Quincy Crew isn't the story of, you know, a team that finished 9th to 12th place at TI. It's over the last year and a half, everything they've achieved. They got first place in the DPC Season 2, second place in the first. They had a top 6 in a major. The first major, not the best result, but they went there with a stand-in under, you know, unusual circumstances. This team just stuck together, played through really challenging times, and it really is a sad ending for them here. But as you kind of mentioned, sometimes the cards don't fall your way. Facing one of the teams that's kind of been their biggest kryptonite at TI is tough for them, and unfortunately, they're going home today.
I think that also it showed a lot of maturity, and that's sort of what you expect nowadays from LOA and what this guy represents. Maturity and also appreciation for what he has, his team, his health. That's something that not everybody can have as well, and I think that it's just really great to see these role models potentially in a way for how to be, you know, a gracious loser and to move on with grace in that regard.
So what now that they're out of the tournament, Insania, what do you think they're going to do now with the rest of their time, with the rest of the year?
Well, that's a tough question, but I think just like any player that's at TI, you're gonna take a little bit of time. I think you've been working really, really hard for like the last probably month, very, very intensely. You've probably been a boot camp away from home for like a month straight. So it wouldn't surprise me if they just took the time to, I don't know, kind of work on themselves or take a break, try to think about something else, get over the loss, and like deal with the emotions.
Yeah, I mean it's so difficult, right? It's so because not only is it hard to face the fact that you are now out of the tournament, but a lot of people will cope with this in different ways, right? So I hope that they're able to bond together as a team and enjoy the rest of the tournament anyway, because even though they're not playing, there's still some great Dota to be enjoyed, right? And there's just not much to say about that, right? Like they they fought so hard, and we just really have to put a lot of respect on them. Also, thank you to them for representing North American Dota and bringing us really far. You know, a lot of people say like evil geniuses, North America, but Quincy Crew has always been there, right? And they're part of that message that NA Dota never dies.
And no shame to losing to OG. Two-time TI champions.
Right.
These guys are absolute beasts. Like, they played incredibly well here. Like, they can hang their heads high because of the team they lost to is, you know, one of the best in the world. They're a team that everyone left in the tournament is looking at like, they don't want to play OG right now.
Right. And now OG is going to be moving on, and they're looking very powerful. Do you think that we're getting back to peak OG in Zania?
I don't know. I think they looked a little bit shaky in game one, and I think it's hard to overlook. And I think Quincy Crew, at least, they felt like they had an idea that might have worked. I think for game two, OG showed like their flip side. They had a different play style. They came in much more aggressive, and I think that's the play style that OG is going to have to play up against like some of the slower teams that are still left in the tournament. I believe Vici was knocked down today, so that might be an opponent that, you know, the second type of play style looked a bit better against than the play style they brought out in the first game.
And Lyrical, one more question for you. So what do you think OG can take from that match against Quincy Crew?
I think that a lot of confidence in Thompson's play. You think about that Dawnbreaker MVP of that last game. He looked so incredibly strong on it. And to have these like weird little mix-ups where he knows how to take a matchup and just like throw it on its head and make everybody else feel uncomfortable in the game, that's their bread and butter. And if they can keep getting him activated like that, they're going to have a ton of success.
Well, they did have a ton of success in this round. Let's get their thoughts on how they did with an interview with Jake and No Tail.
Thank you so much, Sumi. No Tail, this is not your first time in the winner's chair for your winner's interview, but this has been a long time since we've done it from the lower bracket. Back was up against the wall. How'd it feel?
It's always when OG is strongest, is when there's nothing to lose or back against the wall. So it's a different feeling, definitely. Now we're playing for knockout games all the time. People get knocked out. Like, ideally, it's going to be our opponents from here on out, you know. But it's definitely a different feeling to be. Yeah, I haven't felt it in a long time, or like it feels like forever since I've been in lower bracket.
Is it kind of refreshing to you? You know?
Yeah, it brings back memories. You know, lower bracket runs can be the best. You always.
Absolutely. All right, this is your first time with Sumail. You got kind of dragged into the Hassan Bowl. I'm sorry, I have to mention it. How's it like having him on the team?
Oh, fantastic. No, Sumail is one of the best teammates you could ask for in terms of many things. Like on the human aspect, there's no finger to put on, and on the Dota aspect, I'd have to mention how nice it is to have a core player. And it's also how OG works, being able to talk about Dota, being able to describe and put words on what you like, what you see, what you're doing. It's a treat. It's a dream.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. All right, I only have a few more for you. I did want to bring it down a little bit and ask you a ridiculous one. You're kind of a connoisseur of the voice lines, I must say. Out of all time, which is the best?
Of all time, which is the best? I would have to do the La Cámara Tag and the Kookaburra laugh.
There you go. Yeah. All right, fantastic. Excellent choices. Okay, my final question for you, sir. TI7. You were in that tournament, and I asked you then, how far do you guys think you can go? And you told me, as far as we can. Do you still imagine that when you go to the International after 2 wins, or does your brain automatically assume, yeah, of course we're going to be in the finals?
There are many thoughts that creep up on me, and some I just have to pay attention to and shrug off, and then some I have to really stop and ask myself, like, why is that in my head? Definitely this year, it's a very unique and special year in what we talked about, how people are watching us, and we're kind of the underdog, but not really. Like, everybody is keeping a close eye. The best mentality is having a sort of a humble one. You know, you're confident, but you also just take it one game at a time, do your best. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. Just play the best Dota, and the best Dota will always win.
All right. Well, thank you, No-Tail, for a fantastic interview. It's always great to talk to you, and I'm sure we will be seeing you again as we continue to have the International and have OG part of it, like always. See you soon.
We will absolutely be continuing to have OG at the International as they have 2-0'd Quincy Crew and will move on in the lower bracket. But we have just gotten started because we still have upper bracket matches, and then we still have to finish out lower bracket matches as well. Gentlemen, what matchups are you looking forward to? Insania, tell me.
VP LGD. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. I think VP for me is a team that coming into the tournament, there was a lot of like question marks of how are they going to perform on LAN. But I always felt like if they get a couple of wins in a row, if they get some momentum building, they're a really, really scary team. And I think like now they have that. They got through the first upper bracket game. They got to play on the main stage, and now they got VP ahead of them. I mean, LGD, sorry.
All right, Lurkle, tell me, what are you most excited for?
I'm going to sneak away the Vici EG one. I think that these are maybe 2 of the best teams that are in the lower bracket right now, with obviously OG being one of the other ones to consider. And when I think about those 2 teams, it could go either way, and it's nuts that it's already happening at like that first round of the lower bracket, pretty much battling it out for elimination squad. I just can't believe it's already this soon.
Gods, what are you hyped for?
I mean, both those series, but also, I mean, Secret, IG, the other 2 upper bracket teams, I think both have gone a bit under the radar. IG, you know, they're kind of playing second fiddle as far as the hype around them to LGD. And for Secret, you know, this is the first TI where it feels like, you know, they've really shown up and been delivering. They knocked out OG down to the lower bracket. So I think you have to really consider Secret one of the tournament favorites at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been doing extremely well. Definitely a contrast from the Secret of the DPC, right? That's I feel like they have some more secrets up their sleeve, like Slacks mentioned earlier. Slacks has been saying that, and we've been repeating it basically the entire group stage, and we've been seeing it from them. But yeah, there's just a lot more Dota to be enjoyed, and a lot more of people's prediction brackets to get completely obliterated. Tell me about your brackets. How have they been?
Little rough. I'm hoping my bracket pans out. I have a OG EG collision headed my way in my bracket, so I'm hoping that happens in the low bracket.
We will have to